and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking them down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend and are ready to roll into yet another week here in the college football world, where we're going to talk plenty of it. Fall camp still very much a thing. I believe Chase, it's hard to even keep up now because there's been so much has gone on even over the weekend with Media Day. Had another practice yesterday. I want to say we're on day 5. This is practice number 5 that just concluded, which, again, crazy to think about. There's only about, 18 or so, more or less, before the season kicks off. I know we do the countdown, and I know we always have Crystal in here keeping us up to date. We're about 26 days away, so less than a month, which is crazy. But the fact that we're just flying through training camp, man, I mean, I still can't wrap my head around it. I know I say that every day, but it really just is flying by. Maybe it's because I have a million things going on, too. I don't know what it is, but we are 5 days in of training camp. They just concluded. We'll have more media availability today. Coming up shortly again, we've learned around the top of the hour is typically when we start having those things roll in. I believe we're hearing from the offensive side of the ball again today. So Ryan Grubb, I imagine, is speaking and addressing the media here shortly. Have some offensive players available again. Again, they had media day this weekend. We heard from a whole bunch of guys. They had a number of guys available to the media. So we got so many things we can pick and pull from. We got some little fall camp intel and nuggets we'll talk about and discuss, things that have kind of gone on so far. Again, about a week into it, going into the second week. So we need to address kind of where things are right now, keep you guys up to date, and of course, answer any questions that you might have. 205-342-9904. That is the phone number if you guys want to call in. We always love to take calls. I know sometimes we're a little, it takes a little time to get there sometimes, but I promise we're going to get you guys on here and talk about what you guys want to talk about, which I'd imagine is fall camp because we're in the thick of it right now. And speaking of talking fall camp, I got something lined up for you guys here in hour number 2 that I think you're going to enjoy. At 12:30, we will have a brand new guest joining us. He's going to join us today. But I believe we're going to have it set up so he's going to join us weekly. Somebody that you guys have mentioned before. I know you guys really enjoy listening to him. I get to catch him sometimes on multiple platforms. And that is none other than Jimmy Stein. He's going to be joining us on the stream at 12:30. So we will hear from Jimmy, get the latest from his perspective. I know he's an insider. He's got some good intel. So we'll go pick the brain of Jimmy Stein and ask him what is the latest from what he's hearing, maybe seeing, from Alabama's fall camp 2026 5 practices through. So we got pretty much a full day, plenty of interviews that we're going to break down, of course, intel nuggets we'll talk about before all that. And then now Jimmy Stein joining us at 12:30. So we've got a full one here on the show. Looking forward to it. And we'll talk about all the good things coming up here in a moment. First, I got to remind you about our friends over at Lamprella Law Education and Advocacy. If you need some representation, you're looking for somebody to represent you, whether it's a criminal matter, which, hopefully you don't find yourself in that situation, but things happen, academic misconduct, NIL, they've got you covered. Whatever it is that you need representation for, Adam and his team at Lamprella Law will take care of you. Not only do they do it in a first-class manner, but they are affordable, right? We all know things are expensive. Everything's expensive nowadays, especially representation. Adam will take care of you, especially those Crimson Tide fans, which we know we have a whole bunch of you guys listening to the show. So check them out, lamprello-law.com. You can schedule a free consultation right there, find out more information, read some testimonials. Plus, they also offer a number of other services for high school, college, graduate students, whether that's academic and career planning, subject matter mastery, exam and test taking preparation, all those things they offer for you. All at Lamprella Law Education and Advocacy. Again, that's lamprello-law.com, the official representation right here on the Miller's Edge. Chase, I know you mentioned you're feeling better. If you want to say hey to the folks listening real quick so they can hear you, because I know you're under the weather and I know people are concerned that Ricky was accusing me of not getting you some tea. So Chase, if I need to DoorDash you some tea to the studio today, I'm ready to do it. Ricky said, hey man, take care of your guy, Chase. I said, you're right, Ricky. I need to get him some tea if he still needs it. But you told me you're feeling good. So we're good today, Chase. You need that tea?
I appreciate you, Christian. It's good to see you. But yeah, I'm back to 100%. Just I had to take my vitamins. It's kind of sometimes we forget that in the mornings, but I have to be better about that. But yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm excited for today's show. But I appreciate you, Christian, and it's good to be back at 100% because being under the weather is not for the week. I'll tell you
No.
that. But how are you doing today, Christian?
I'm good, good, busy, but good, and that's a good problem to have. And I'm just blessed, man. Blessed to wake up this morning, blessed to be able to do something I enjoy, blessed to be with all you guys, and blessed to be able to talk football and ultimately, man, get you guys ready for football season. Which, speaking of that, I was talking with my partner, right, Roger Hoover, this morning. So just a quick reminder: during the season, I know I've been doing I've done sideline, right? I've host the post game show, which I currently still do, but now I also will be doing the pregame show with Roger Hoover every single game day. So if you guys aren't sick of me by the time we hit Friday, because you're listening to me just run my mouth Monday through Friday right here on the Miller's Edge, 11 to 1, I'm sorry, buckle up because you're going to hear even more of me now, right? You heard me after the games, well, you're going to hear me before the games even more. Me and Roger already doing some stuff before, some pregame segments, but now I'm pretty much co-hosting with him before every single Alabama football game. So make sure you guys tune into that on the Crimson Tide Sports Network every single game day. Of course, you can catch it wherever you listen to the Crimson Tide Sports Network. I know for a fact you can listen to it on Tide 100.9. So make sure you guys tune in to I guess the Tide 100.9 app if that's easiest for you to check that out. Because me and Roger, we're going to get you guys ready for the game, and then me and Gray Robertson are going to take you guys home, whenever you're driving home or just need a little bit of a breakdown or trying to figure out what the heck just happened. Me and Gray got you covered on that end. So looking forward to it, man. Our plate is full, and that is a good problem to have. If you pray for more opportunities, well, you can't complain when you get them. So we're ready to rock and roll with that. Chase, in terms of media day, really good stuff, man. Michael Carroll had a really good interview. I don't know if you guys have watched that. I really kind of want to pull that up and maybe play it early or maybe hit on some of the important things. I'll just tell you what, man, just listen to that young man speak. He is very impressive, right? A very impressive young man. And he's a really young guy still. Remember, he was only a true freshman last football season, but just listening to him, man, the maturity in which he speaks with, I mean, just he's intentional with how he answers questions. There's times where some questions might come up where it probably would be in his best interest, maybe not to directly answer them. He did a perfect job doing that. And you could just tell the competitive nature that he has. He strikes me as a leader, even being a young guy. I'm going ahead and putting my money on this. Now, we don't have any gambling sponsors. Now, if you guys want to hook us up with one, we gladly will take one. I will be putting my money on Michael Carroll leaving the University of Alabama as a permanent team captain like myself in 2018. Sorry, I just had a quick brag real quick. It's something I'm extremely proud of. Got a tattoo for it. And also, I would say that Michael Carroll is without a doubt going to be a leader on this football team. But I can totally see him being a permanent team captain when it's all said and done. Maybe not this year because he's only a sophomore. Not saying it can't happen. But I would expect maybe the following year, right, when he's a junior, probably going to be his last year, given that he's a very talented individual. I'm sure he's going to be on a lot of draft radars, a lot of draft boards. If he's not already, right, you can still be on those boards when you're young, clearly, for the future. I'm putting that down, Chase. Mark my words today. August 10th, 2026, Michael Carroll will leave the University of Alabama permanent team captain. Just the way he carries himself. And not only that, I guarantee, I'll put this down too. He will represent Alabama at SEC Media Days next season. Mark that down, Chase. Do you want to put a little friendly wager on that, or are you in agreement with me? You're not going to go against that? Did you hear the interview? By
I
chance?
heard a little. I heard a little bit about it, and I can see why you're very heavily on Mr. Carroll. He's grown a lot since being here at UA. Kind of reminds me a lot of like Tyler Booker, somebody that leads the room and is not afraid of the moment, and that's a high bid for sure. And I don't have anybody in particular that maybe might replace that, but I don't mind finding a wager just to have a little fun with it. But that's a very, very great pick, especially by accepting the captain yourself. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just the way he carries himself, man. I mean, and it's not all about that, right? I mean, you got to actually back it up. You got to be somebody that your guys depend on and can count on. Like, there's a lot of factors that go involved with being named a permanent team captain. But he already has all the tools and traits, and he embodies it on the football field. But just seeing him in front of that microphone, which we've heard him speak to the media before, but this was just yet another opportunity. Just a very impressive young man. Like if Tyler Booker's actually a good one, because he also is a guy that represented Alabama. I believe he also walked away as a permanent team captain. And Very similar type of guy in terms of the tenacity and physicality they play with on the offensive line. That's actually not a bad little comparison there. Just kind of looking at the whole picture. But we got to hear from him. Yanze Pierre was also up on a podium. Really a number of guys. The only folks you really didn't hear from were the quarterbacks, which is pretty much expected given the history, right? Anytime there's a quarterback battle, they typically keep those guys on the shelf, which I understand, right? You don't the media is already asking the other players about the quarterbacks enough, right? You put those guys in front of the cameras, of course, people are going to be asking certain questions that you probably just want to stay away from right now. So we didn't hear from the quarterbacks directly, but you did get to see them. Matter of fact, everybody in attendance was, pretty much flooding Keelan Russell and those guys to take pictures. I know there's been some speculation regarding that one clip of some of the players waiting in the line to see Keelan Russell. Then they basically just go shower him with love and go, take a picture with them, kind of joking around. And some people were saying, hey, you talk about quarterback battles and, you got to win the team. That's a big part of it. Well, a lot of people were kind of reading into that, Chase. We'll talk a little bit about, could we pull something away from that little clip? Is probably like 5 seconds. Is it meaningful? Maybe it's pointless. Maybe it's just nothing but a little bit of fun. We'll talk a little bit about that and more. We'll drop some of the latest nuggets, just some of the overall impressions of kind of what's been going on, update on the run game, things like that. All that coming up. But first, we got to hit a timeout. Don't go anywhere. This is our first one. We come back with rocking and rolling. Make sure you guys, if you haven't already, would prefer to watch the show where we got clips pulled up again, courtesy. These are Bama Online's clips that we're playing right now on our YouTube channel. I want to be clear about that. Make sure you guys check us out at The Miller's Edge on YouTube, of course, on X at The Miller's Edge as well. My personal X at Christian Mill R. You can watch it there. And then I know the Tide 100.9 Facebook page, we're always up and running right there as well. And who knows, maybe we're going to expand in more platforms. I got an invite from Kick, which is a streaming service, to start streaming there. Now, I'm not an IRL streamer or anything like that, but who knows? Maybe you guys have Kick or want to watch over there. We'll see where the wind blows. But first, we'll hit this timeout. We come back, we rock and roll on this Monday edition of The Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, good deal, man. Let's see who we got in the chat. Who's in here early? Let's see. Arthur, what's up? Almost made it. This is last weekend without football until Valentine's Day. Roll Tide. That is quite some time. That's definitely a lot of football, man. Buckle up. We got Robin Moody, so ready. Absolutely. Crystal in here with our countdown. What's up, Crystal? We got you, Kenji. Happy Monday. T, what's up? Roll Tide. Trevor, what's going on? Happy Monday. 5 Adam, what's up? Roll Tide. We got Fonzo, what's going on? We got the crew. What's Lottie Brooks' injury? He was in a walking boot at practice reportedly. I don't know specifics on his injury, but I'll definitely keep you guys up to date if I hear anything in the time being. We got Jimmy coming on at 12:30. Maybe he's talked to somebody since. I've been running around doing a million things this morning, so I hadn't even got the chance to try to ask, but I'm sure we'll keep you guys updated. But I'll be honest with you. I mean, if he's walking around in a walking boot, I mean, it could be something as minor as, just tweaking an ankle. I would imagine if it was just very minor, like an ankle tweak, probably would be a little bit more just taped up and maybe trying to give it a go. Could be more like a high ankle sprain, which, that could be, is more of a several week process. I don't know, and I don't want to sit here and try to speculate because I personally don't know, but I would just wait until you kind of find out a little bit more details. But if we find out before, then I'll definitely let you know. Mike, what's going on, man? Just talked to some of my family that lives up in New York, and they'll be coming down here for the Florida State game. Well, at least they sent me a text. I haven't, I got to get back with them, but they'll be down here from New York. And matter of fact, fun fact, man, my cousin attends the same high school that my mom went to, which is really cool, man. I've always wanted to kind of go up there and kind of see like where she grew up, man. But it's cool to at least kind of be able to hear about it from them. Ken, what's up? Roll Tide. Let's see. Oh, y'all talking about the Latzia Brooks thing? Yeah. Yeah, we'll touch base with it. I mean, they practiced yesterday, so I mean, probably just popped up yesterday. But I'll be honest, I don't think it's probably anything major. Now again, I'm just speculating, but let's see who else we got in here. Jimmy's making his rounds on podcasts lately. Love it. Jimmy's great. Yeah, I saw him with Kyle on Bama football on YouTube. It popped up on Twitter, and I know a couple of you guys had asked about him jumping on here at some point, and I was like, why not just reach out and see if he would be down to do it? And he was super nice. He said he was happy to jump on board. So yeah, I think we'll start having him like once a week, which would be fun, man. Trying to get a bunch of more people on here. I know you guys like hearing guests and other perspectives. Of course, I'll keep doing my part, getting some more football guys, kind of like myself. I know you guys like that piece, but I think it's cool getting perspectives from guys like Jimmy as well. Those guys do a lot of homework, man, and they got eyes and ears all over the place. So I think it'd be fun getting just a fresh perspective on people that are in the thick of it when it comes to Alabama. Every single detail, man. Those guys are grinding it out. So I think it'll be some good stuff, man. Jay Moneyman, what's up? Good afternoon. Good morning to our folks on Central Time. We got Ja'Cory in here. What's up? What's up? We got JJ Ramon, Travelpreneur. What's up? What's up? Sorry, I'm trying to get through all our folks, man, because we're about to come back from a quick timeout. We got Kyle Wright. Salt, Pepper, Fire says, are there any nuggets in all the coach speak that gives you as a former player any idea who will start at quarterback? That's a good little question we can talk about. We can start with that when we come back. I want to play that Michael Carroll interview, but it's like 16 minutes. So maybe I could try to get some of the key pieces from it. Maybe we could skip through it. Or maybe, Chase, do you, I don't want to make you do a million things. I was about to say, do you think you could take away some of the key points from Michael Carroll's interview if you get a chance? Maybe. I would try to do it, but I'm going to kind of got my hands full right now. Or maybe you can see if like some of the key parts are already, split up on X. Because I wanted just to listen to it because it's a really good interview, but I know 16 minutes, man, it's going to eat up a lot of our time. So we'll figure it out. Here we go. And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. As you guys can see, if you're watching via our streams, we got some practice footage pulled up from today's practice. Again, this is courtesy of Bama Online. This is their content from today's practice. We're just rolling with it here on our stream. But again, this is content of Bama Online that we're rolling just from today's practice. We got clips from yesterday's practice. So we got plenty of stuff we'll be talking about and pumping out. And, of course, answering y'all's questions, whether it's on the phone lines or here in the chat, which we had one from Salt, Pepper, Fire that kind of stood out. And so let's just start here. Again, we are about a week into training camp, more or less, day number 5 now in the books. We got media availability coming up. We're loaded today. Chase, this is the blessing of this time of year. Dog days of summer in the media. I don't think people understand how difficult it can be trying to come up with, especially when you're like, all right, we try to branch off and cover pretty much all the big news that we can. But we know the reality is everybody really wants to talk Alabama football. So when you're like, man, when people want to concentrate on one thing, you're like, golly, man, we need some fresh content. But now it's like, Chase, I feel like we have so much content, we're skipping out on things. We can't even get to everything. Maybe that means I need to stop talking so much and start bouncing from thing to thing. That said, our first question, we'll start here. I thought it was a pretty good one. Are there any nuggets in all the coach speak that gives you, as a former player, an idea of who will start at quarterback? If I'm being completely transparent, I wish there was an answer that I could give you where I could say, yep, you know what, I have the leg up by really listening to what's being said, and I can tell you, yeah, this is what this means, and yeah, you can bank on. I'll be honest with you. Basically what I pulled out from kind of listening to coaches speak on this, and even now some players, Chase, they asked a number of players about both of these individuals. You really hear, both guys are spoken so highly of, right? For every time you hear somebody talk about Keelan Russell and just the ability that he has, the high upside and the ceiling that he brings just because of the pure talent, right? Like the throws, something that I've been talking about, right? I remember even back in the spring, we used to have this one guy that used to come and comment on all the videos of like, man, you just want Keelan Russell so bad. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I'm like, no, I'm telling you just what my eyes have seen. The guy is a special talent. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying he doesn't have any flaws. I'm not saying he doesn't have any weaknesses to his game. But there's just something about certain players, when you turn on that tape, Chase, and they just have something to them, right? And it's not even just quarterbacks; it's really any position. There's something that they do that really makes them flash. There's something that they do that separates them from even good players, right? That play the same position. Like there's just something, and to me, that's just kind of what I see in Keelan Russell. That's something I've seen in him since he got here. Like I always will go back to that first practice that I got to see him. I think it was, matter of fact, one of his first. I think it was his first practice. I think it was the first practice when he first got here. It just, the way he was throwing the football, the way it came off his hand, the times I saw him, escape the pocket, evade something, and then he's just kind of throwing back across the field, something you typically don't do. But he can do it in a fashion where you're like, oh man, dang, how did he just do that? To the point where it's clearly not just me, because his own teammate pretty much was saying the same thing. I think they had asked Marshall Pritchett, I believe, about both quarterbacks, and I think he pretty much said that same thing, Chase, that there's some throws that the guy makes that you're just like, how did he just do that? That's the kind of player that he is, the kind of player that he can be, right? And so that's clearly just going to stand out, right? I think, matter of fact, he termed him, I guess, dynamite in a bottle, right? Marshall Pritchett said the guy's an incredible athlete, incredible football throw. It's so hard to explain his game if you haven't kind of seen it fully in person every day like we do. He just makes throws, and it's like you rewind the film, and you're like, there's no way he just did that. How did he just do that? That's the only way to explain Keelan. The guy's dynamite. That's what I've been saying since the guy got on campus, right? That's what I've been trying to explain. Like, as somebody who's seen it more than just the few snaps he got last year, or, you know what I mean, in A-Day, that's kind of what I've been trying to explain. And I guess unless you're really seeing it, people just aren't maybe going to fully buy into that. Maybe, I don't know. That said, it is important to acknowledge, Chase, that doesn't mean that there's no love for Austin Mack. As a matter of fact, you always feel that, at least to me, when Kalen DeBoer is asked about the quarterbacks, a lot of the attention naturally starts shifting towards Keelan, just because most people do kind of believe in what Marshall Pritchett was just talking about, it, whether they are going off of the minimal snaps that he's played, or even just as a recruit, whatever the case may be. But there's always in some type of way, shape, or form, it kind of drifts back into Austin Mack, where he is brought, at least for Kalen DeBoer. And whether that's just him trying to be respectful and trying to give all his guys credit, which I totally understand, or if he truly believes it, which I think is both, because everybody that I've talked to has said the same thing. Both guys right now are playing some really good football, right? To the point where I don't think one's necessarily truly separated themselves just yet, right? I mean, I'm sure one's had better days than the others, right? Or made some plays here, other one made some plays there. But so far, to my understanding, right? I mean, this battle is very much ongoing. So that's a long way to answer your question, but I would say, between the coach speak and kind of what we're hearing, to me, I think there just genuinely is a very tight battle going on right now. There's been some things that I feel like I've heard a little bit where it just feels like Austin Mack still naturally and as expected kind of has a little bit of maybe a leg up in terms of just his understanding of things, Chase, right? With him being older. I know age-wise they're relatively around the same age, more or less. However, he's got a whole extra, year or two under his belt in college, right? So, I mean, and within the system, which is really important. That's one thing that everybody immediately brings up. Like with him, it's like, hey, you get to play, everybody's lined up, boom, boom. Like he's quick, he's snappy, he knows everything. The ceiling might not be as high as Keelan Russell, but he clearly has a little bit of an advantage in that aspect, which is totally expected. So I don't think too much has really changed from what we've been talking about here on the show since spring, right? You got the uber talented young guy who has a ceiling that is just exceptional. And when you look at him, you're like, man, that's the type of guy you need to go win championships. Then you also look at Austin Mack and you're like, this guy can go win you a bunch of football games too. And it's not that he's not talented. He clearly is very talented too. Ceiling might not be as high, but he also gives you maybe a little bit more comfortability when you're talking about, I don't know, operation and management of the offense just because of that extra experience. Maybe a little bit in terms of like decision making, a little bit of a safer option, right? It's almost like higher risk, high reward maybe type of deal. So, yeah, that would be my answer to that. I don't think we have anything truly indicating who's going to end up starting at quarterback. We'll hear from the offensive side of the ball again today. Maybe we can pull something from that and then kind of go off it. But so far, I would say, if anything, Chase, it almost just feels like, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if, with things being so close, and we've been saying this, I feel like Keelan's going to have to take that job, right? I think Keelan's going to have to be undeniably the better guy. I think if it's relatively close, I think they probably say, hey, let's give Austin Mack the go, and then kind of go from here, right? Because I feel like you could make that decision and then end up going to Keelan there, but it'd be kind of, I don't know, not awkward, but I feel like that's probably the easier choice versus starting Keelan and then trying to go backwards. I almost feel like if you start Keelan since he's younger, anyway, again, they both don't have much experience, but it's like, hey, you just got to stick with it and just let him grow. If not, I feel like you can almost kind of mess things up. I almost think the better option would be start with Mac if it is that close. See what he can do, and then you got Keelan right there, locked and loaded, ready to roll. Personally, I wouldn't be shocked if that's how it plays out. But I still just feel like something about Keelan's game, Chase. If you're not going to have that true experience factor like some of these other top contender teams have, it's hard for me to say, hey, don't roll with a guy like Keelan Russell, because both guys kind of lack the experience anyway. Whoever's going to get in there is going to have to go through growing pains. We already know that. They're going to have to learn from trial and error. And so if you're kind of making that decision, it's kind of like what Smitty said. I think he's on the phone lines. Maybe you do just say, hey, roll with the young guy. Let him learn a little bit. Right? So it's a tough decision that they have to make. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's a very tough decision that they have to make. But with only 5 practices in fall camp, I truly believe it's still way too early. Haven't even had an official scrimmage yet. But I can say this, and I'll end on this note. The folks I've talked to have said, outside of just them against each other, the quarterback position just as a whole right now, the way both of these guys are all performing in that room, really, it's been very good. It's been very solid, to the point where it's almost, I think, like they're performing more efficiently than they were last year, right? I mean, because they track all these numbers and stats and stuff like that. So if anything, that's a positive sign, because you're like, all right, sounds like both these guys are already on a higher trajectory of kind of where we were last year, right? And Ty Simpson ended up being a really good quarterback, dealt with some injuries, couldn't do it all himself. Ultimately was a first-round draft pick. You know what I mean? So if you're kind of hearing that, I think that's very encouraging regardless of kind of where we're at with this current battle. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, we got to hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling. We keep talking fall camp. And I see we got folks lined up on the phone line, so we'll start mixing in some phone calls while we keep trying to break all this stuff down. We got plenty of content. That's a great problem to have. We'll get to it when we come back right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. All right, let's see where we're at. Okay, we got lots here. Interview pulled up. Let's see. I want to get to these phone calls, but I know we need to do some need to break down a little bit more of this intel and stuff that we got. Golly, man, it's hard to squeeze all this stuff in, but I'm not complaining, man. Hey, quick reminder, if you guys haven't already, if you're watching on YouTube, please, if you don't mind, just hit that like button. That would be amazing. Helps us out, helps the channel continue to grow, which we're growing really quickly here, which is awesome, man. And of course, the more folks we get in here, not only is it good for our channel and our brand, but really helps you guys out, because the more people that are listening, that are in the chat, interacting, the more fun it is for you guys. So make sure you guys are liking and all that good stuff. If you're not subscribed, feel free to do that. That way you stay up to date, hit that notification bell. You get notified every time that we go live or upload. And of course, if you guys have social media and you want to share it, or you know anybody that maybe hasn't listened to us yet and you think they would enjoy it, go ahead and share the videos, man. We love to welcome everybody into the family, man. We appreciate that. Big Duval says 4 players landed on the 2026 freak list. Christian, did they have that when you were playing? Pause. I'm not gonna lie. That is a crazy name, which is very immature of me, but I'm sorry, man. I just like the freak list. All this Diddy stuff is just kind of made stuff a little weird when you talk about. Anyway, I don't know if they had that. I don't know, but I feel like we would have had a number of guys. Derrick Henry probably would have been number 1 on the list. I think we all can agree if there was that list, Derrick Henry probably would have been number 1. I did see this list, and I wanted to talk about that. Thank you for reminding me, because I have a million things bookmarked, and I probably skipped over it a little bit. Here was Marshall Pritchard's quote on Austin Mack. This is what I was looking for. Austin's an incredibly knowledgeable quarterback. He's a true prototype NFL quarterback. He's a huge kid, very straightforward. You get the call, you line up, Austin's going to deliver. A very smart quarterback, very dependable. The guy is going to have a great year, whoever it is, him, Keelan, they're all going to ball out, not worried about who it is at all. So it's, if you just listen to basically what Marshall Pritchard's saying, he's describing pretty much what myself, I think a lot of other people have been talking about with this battle. It's really just, a similar situation or similar, I guess, ways of describing both players, right? One is experienced, dependable in terms of, straightforward, knowing the system, getting guys lined up, what you would expect out of him. And then Keelan Russell, just people just in awe of the raw talent that the young man brings. So, I mean, it's pretty much all the stuff that we've been talking about since spring, still carrying over right now, and still early in camp. So we gotta see where it takes us. But it's fun, man. It's definitely fun. Lance says true O-line is key. Yeah, and just talking with some folks about the offensive line, man. We heard it from Coach DeBoer just saying day number 1 that they've seen some good progress just from where they were in the spring up to just the first practice, which is a very encouraging sign. But I was talking with some folks, man, and they definitely said that the offensive line, even the tight end room, like those two specific positions have definitely shown some noticeable improvement. That doesn't mean it's where it needs to be just yet. I want to be clear that that's not what that means, right? I mean, I still think we're going to have some growing pains, but just to hear that things like playing with more physicality, that's clearly been a focus. We've heard that from the staff and people speaking to the media. Now talking to the folks in the building, and they're telling me that, like, they're basically confirming that. I think that's a positive sign. So I know a lot of people wanted some updates on that. I'll re-mention that here in a second for our radio listeners since we're on break. But that was one thing that stood out from my conversation, is that offensive line and tight ends, man. We talked about that in the breakdown that I did on the running game. Sounds like that's definitely trending in the right direction. So that's always good to hear, especially when you know how serious an issue like that is, especially for this football team specifically. And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Chase, here's some quick little nuggets and intel, right, that I want to drop before we go to the phone lines, because I know we need to kind of catch up kind of what we've seen, I guess, through 1 week of fall camp. Now we're rolling into week number 2, and I know a lot of people are finally, getting in here, right? Even though it feels like we just started the show, man. We're already 40 minutes in. It's crazy. It's flying by. I don't think we're going to have enough time to hit everything. It's fine. We'll do what we can. Quick little nuggets, Chase. Number 1, I just mentioned this during our break. I was curious kind of about, offensive line, right? Of course, everybody's, seeing the clips and you're seeing pre-practice and whatnot, but from somebody who's seeing it consistently, right? Like the folks in the building, how's it looking? How's it coming along? And so far, there's been noticeable improvement, Chase. Now, again, like I mentioned before, that does not mean everything's fixed, everything's solved. But I think that's very encouraging, right? That people in the building are acknowledging, hey, man, we're starting to see these guys take some of those steps. That's a very positive sign. Now, again, we haven't had our first scrimmage yet. They still were in shells, meaning just shoulder pads. They haven't went full pads just yet, unless I'm drawing a blank because they weren't in full pads. No, they're still in shells this morning. They haven't even gone full pads just yet. You still can be very physical in shells, don't get me wrong. So there's still plenty of time that, these guys have to keep working. But that, to me, was a very positive sign. We talked about in the running game breakdown that I did, man. You got to have more physicality, get more push, right? You just got to play with more of an edge up front in the trenches. And that definitely is a positive sign, especially given the fact that this defensive line is probably going to be one of the stronger units on this football team. At least that's kind of where it's trending right now, right? You see them in these drills, they look the part, and from everything that I've been hearing, those transfers that they brought in, man, are definitely going to be very, very strong contributors, right? We already know Terrence Green and of course, I'm drawing a blank on his name, Devon Tompkins. I got to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. But Tompkins and Terrence Green have definitely been flashing, right? Picking up where they left off in the spring. But don't be surprised about Kendrick Bingley Jones also, man. He's definitely been making some noise as well. And when you just look at those three individuals just right there, Chase, we're not even talking about some of the young guys that we've seen get snaps like last season. You still got London Simmons, who looks really good, coming off a little spring injury / operation, right? He's looking good. You got Jeremiah Beeman back. Guys that are a little bit more of like those, I guess, project types like Steve Boomwa, right? I mean, you see the potential. So I guess what I'm trying to get at, Chase, before it felt like we were doing a lot of talking like, well, this guy could, or this guy. Now, training camp is here and we've got 5 practices to really look at. These guys are really, consistently showing up. And to me, I think it's starting to take shape. This defensive line is not just kind of like, hey, I think we can. I think they're starting to prove that we can start expecting them to be a very solid unit. Now, again, what that entails, we'll have to see. I don't know. I mean, pass rush is one thing that I think needs to improve. How good can they be in that department, right? To me, I'm really more focused on how physical can they be? How consistent can they be stopping the run? Speaking of physicality, Caleb, why am I so bad with names this morning? Caleb Woodson. Caleb Woodson, man, at that linebacker spot continues to impress, right? I mean, the guy is 6'3", 240 pounds, can run like a deer. I'll be honest, Chase. I mean, these portal additions, man, and I'll be the first one to tell you, like watching some of their tape when they first were in the portal and we were, making the headlines about, oh, we just signed this guy. And I just immediately go to the tape and I watch several games. These guys, I feel like, are exceeding my expectations, which, number one, credit to the staff, right, in their evals. But two, also, even with their, I guess, price, development, I know it's still very early and we don't have a definitive yet. Like we can't really make a true, I guess we can't really like make a true, I guess, I don't know, deciding factor on how these guys end up turning out, because we got to play football, right? At the end of the day, we haven't played. But where things are, Chased through 5 days, there are a lot of encouraging signs from a lot of these guys that transfer. And that's the best way to put it. I always have to, if my dad was here, he'd be the first one to jump me and tell me I'm chapsticking. So I got to remember, sometimes I got to wait. All right, we're trending in the right direction. It's still very soon. I don't want to say all this and then the season comes and then you start seeing some inconsistencies. It's like, hey, Christian, you said where things stand right now, kind of what we're seeing, the flashes, you see the potential. Ultimately, they gotta do it on game day, and they got to do it consistently. It can't just be one game or one moment, because last year they did a lot of, even the offense, Chase, think about it. First half of the season, they played some good football. There is a point during the season we talked about that offense being one of the best offenses in the country, even though they couldn't run the ball great, but they were finding ways to be efficient through the air, through the passing game, through extensions of it. I don't know if you remember this. We were one of the best teams in terms of managing the football, right? Time of possession, even though we sucked at running the football, which is unheard of, right? So we had moments, but it's the consistency that needs to improve, and we'll have to see. But anyway, those are some little nuggets that I had just kind of through 5 days, just kind of where things stand. D-line, looking good. Those transfers that we brought in definitely going to make an impact. Linebackers, in terms of Caleb Woodson, definitely setting the tone early in training camp. Metz and QB Reese, I would say, those are the two main guys that I would expect to be competing to line up next to Woodson. Again, not really a big change from spring. I know some people mentioned like CJ Jones maybe, but we've been saying on the show, I think, QB Reese / Metz, those are the guys to really pay attention to. Sounds like that's still kind of where things are currently in terms of the linebacker position. Secondary, you kind of know what you're getting, but I think Carmelo O'Neal and Ivan Taylor are two names to keep an eye out for guys that, whether they're starters and sub packages or whatever the case may be, because you kind of got your predetermined at least 4/5 if with Red Morgan that you expect in terms of the secondary. But best believe, I think Ivan Taylor is going to have an expanded role. He's just been very impressive, and of course Carmelo O'Neal, a transfer from Mercer, they're really high on him, right? So sub packages, dime, we already know they're willing to rotate guys. So whether these guys are starters or not, that is something that we can see. We saw that through the past 2 years so far, especially on defense, something that you don't see all the time. But if they feel like you can play and contribute and you can get fresh body in there that gives you, some fresh legs, you'll probably see some more of that. And the way it's kind of lining up with the depth and the talent that we have in the secondary, I wouldn't be shocked if we see some of that rotating a little bit as well. Kind of like we saw, at least like the first year. I remember they did it a lot to the point where I was like, why are we rotating our secondary like this? But that was something they did. And hey, maybe that helps with the retention of players too. I mean, you're getting guys so much burn, probably makes them feel a little bit more comfortable. All right. We got to hit a timeout. I could ramble even more, but we need to hit a timeout because we got to hit the phone lines. We got some media clips that we got to play. And of course, we'll have Jimmy Stein joining us at 12:30 right here on this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 12:30. WTBC, quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. More Alabama football fall camp talk when we come back. All right. Looks like the Pastor of Pain just hopped on here and then left. I think he just walked away for a second. Let's see. Moon Rocker. Roll damn Tide, see Millie and Chase Millies. Appreciate that, man. Roll Tide, bro. I thought we got some new folks tuning in, man. If you guys are new, man, welcome in. If you guys have been hanging around, of course, shout out to you guys. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. That always helps out the streams and helps us continue to grow and get the word out there, man. We got some big plans for football season. We're super excited, man. Super excited to have you guys along with us, and we're excited to grow. We just hit 5K on YouTube about a month ago, and the goal next is 10K, which I think we can do that for this season, man. I think we can crush that. So help us do that, man. Help us do that. That would be awesome. Let's see. See what we got here in the chat while we have a timeout. Let me throw up these highlights real quick. Again, shout out to Bama Online for these clips. Where are they at? There we go. Let me throw some sound on in the background. We read some chat. DeBoer, Courtney Morgan, and co.'s recruiting, scouting chops seem to be paying off in the portal as well. Yeah, listen, I'll say this, man. I mean, there's times that I have my questions, right? But again, and it's still very early, right? We have to see these guys play, right? I mean, we can't really determine exactly kind of how everything goes until we have a true product to really assess. But I can just say, in terms of how these guys fit, how you expect them to contribute, the voids that they are tasked to fill, there's a lot of excitement and a lot of encouraging signs that a lot of these guys via the transfer portal are going to be some key impact players, which is really important given that, you know, D-line, you lost a bunch of guys, right? Whether it was transfer portal or the draft. Offensive line, a whole bunch of new guys there. So, I mean, you know, had a lot of holes to fill. During, you know, the transfer portal season, definitely had some question marks, but it seems like the staff kind of bet on their eval, kind of bet on, oh, let me be careful with this sound. I don't know if got music in the background. I got to be careful with that. But again, a lot of these transfer guys, man, they look the part at least through 5 days. Let's welcome the Pastor of Pain here. I didn't mean to just leave you hanging on the outside. What's up?
What's happening?
Okay. Oh. Every time I go to talk, oh, there you go. I was about to say, every time I go to talk, man, you disappear.
No, I was trying to see which camera I want to use.
I think that was good. That was
all right,
good.
cool.
Yeah.
That's better. That's the front camera. That's the front cam. What's happening? What up, everybody? What up, chat? It's your boy, the P.O. Pizzle.
Oh, God. P.O. Pizzle. That kind of sounds like piss, man. I don't know. Maybe P.O.
That's what my boy called me, P.O. Pizzle. My nizzle for shizzle. You know what I'm saying?
You know, that kind of died in like the 1990s or something. It might be that era is a little bit of
maybe perhaps.
I don't think we're still Izzling, man. If I'm being honest with you.
Snoop Dogg always would be live.
Nah. Shout out to Snoop. But I'm just saying, you know, now it's more like twin. You know, people say twin.
Yeah.
But you don't need to say.
I'm done this week, dog. I'm done. I got this final copy. That's the book. I'm done.
That's gonna be the cover. I like that cover. I think that's
Yeah,
looks
that's the
better.
cover. That's gonna be the cover.
That
I'm
looks
gonna
way
have
better.
the once we get she hits the live stuff probably tomorrow. So I'll have her how you can pre-order. Over the
Nice.
chat. Get this book. It's gonna change your life. A lot of good stuff in here.
And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We got the Pastor Payne hanging out with us now as we break down fall camp. We're 1 week in. Week 2 is officially begun. Practice number 5 in the books. We got offensive interviews coming up here shortly. We got Jimmy Stein joining us at 1230. Football is back, and we are off and running, man. I love it and every bit of it, man. All right, that said, we need to get to the phone lines because I know we got Smitty on there. We got the Pastor Payne hanging out, so I'll let both of you guys chat together. That way we can try to do everything all together. 205-342-9904. Dan, I see that super chat. I promise I'm gonna get to it. Give me 2 seconds. First, let me welcome Smitty in on the phone line. Smitty, welcome in.
How's it going, gentlemen?
Man, it's going
Hey,
great. Man.
Smitty.
How's everything?
Man, well, I went to the baseball game yesterday and my Dodgers lost again. But other than that, it's been a great weekend.
Did you put money on the game, Smitty?
Nah, I just go to the game, man. I don't do baseball. I'm no Brandon Swordsby here. You know.
I just had to ask. I know sometimes you mention some numbers and then
Go Bronx Bombers, baby. Go Bronx Bombers. That's all I can say.
Hey, holler at me in late August, week 1. I'll be back. But here's the thing, right? I think what happens, like y'all talk about quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason, like last week, I asked about Optimac being under pressure, kind of like Jalen Hurts and Tua. I remember Nick Saban criticizing Hurts for not letting it rip because of Tua being looking over his shoulder. And I think sometimes if you got this young guy who's great talent behind you, you may be scared to put the ball at risk. Not saying like being irresponsible, but letting it rip. And that can hurt the offense as well. And I just don't want this kid going out thinking if he's a starter that he's scared of making a mistake. Because, Captain Checkdown not going to win you anything either.
I mean,
Captain Checkdown. Well, but Captain Checkdown is okay because if you got a quarterback that understands, nothing's open, there was a saying, Smitty, that Charlie Checkdown is what we call him. Charlie Checkdown becomes your best friend. I mean, dump it to the back, get out your hands and let him do what he can do. If he gets 3-4 yards, that's the win on that down. So now you can't lean on that, obviously, all the time, and that's all you got. I hear what you're saying there. But if a quarterback understands, instead of forcing the football and Charlie Checkdown, and we've seen that too many times, Charlie Checkdown has been available, but they try to force balls on a dig route or a deep route. It gets picked off, or tipped and picked off. So I don't mind playing safe that way because to me that's smart football. But if that's all you got, on the flip side of that, I hear what you're saying, then that's a problem.
Well, I'll add this. I think it depends a lot on kind of your team, right? Specifically, that could play a little bit of a factor here. But Coach Saban always said this, take what the defense gives you, right? So I mean, if the defense is giving you those checkdowns, man, I mean that's the way to go, right? That's smart football. And if you have a good defense on the other side, right, and they're getting the ball back to you, and you have a good running game, I'll be honest with you, Smitty, I think that's okay. But with this offense, I don't know if you want just a whole bunch of checkdowns like that. Now, I mean, if the defense is giving you that, that's one thing. But, until we prove that we can run the football more effectively, I mean, that's a little bit different situation. So I feel like depending on your team and kind of how you're built, what you're good at, that can play a little bit of a factor as well. But, I mean, listen, I think you're in good hands either way it goes, man. I mean, both these guys through 5 games have been very impressive, right? Like, and I think there's confidence in both players. I think people were kind of overlooking in that clip of everybody, not everybody, like 8 to 10 guys rushing Keelan Russell on media day to take a picture with them. I mean, of course, they like the guy, but also notice most of those guys in that clip were also young. So they probably are a little bit closer to him because he's around their age, their class. So I wouldn't read too much into that piece. But from everything I've heard, man, everybody said that both quarterbacks are playing some really good football. Both are getting looks, right? This is very much an ongoing battle.
Yeah, and I'll say this also. When you talked about who you go with, because if you start Keelan Russell, you can't go back. It's like a rookie quarterback in the NFL. Once you go with him, you got to roll with him. Right. But one thing I bring up is I got to give Caleb Boyd credit on one thing. There's a lot because good coaches They do a lot of self-reflective, self-scouting, the old "why do we win, why do we lose" mentality.
Yep.
We got some new coaches in here. Feel like they're a little tougher and everything. A better teacher. You talk about Clem being a teacher. The tight end coach. I forgot his name. Chris Owens. That's his name. I think that's his name. Richard Owens. Yeah, I'll think about the offensive lineman. But he's a guy that's been. Cause y'all know a lot of offensive linemen start off as tight ends anyway, and so you got another guy there. But also, people like laughing at Jared Johnson with the pass on. I actually like that.
Who is laughing at? Only people laughing.
I think some on Twitter folks making jokes.
Well, I was going to say, and most of them probably other schools. I'm telling you right now, like from a former player, that's probably one of my favorite things I've seen this fall camp is the fact that they've got a 12-year NFL vet that knows how it's supposed to be done, what it looks like, and what it takes, and he's out there live in action. He's strapped up with the pad suit, and they can actually work their hands. It's not as pass rush, even in the run game, right? There's different numbers and spots that you can strike with the like the pecs and the shoulder, and you can really work on true things that translate to the football. Sometimes when you work, like I saw Auburn working a drill with their offensive lineman, the sled was, I'm talking about, like so low, in the way it was leaning. They kept saying, "Oh, you got to punch, you got to strike." Your helmet's automatically making contact first, so you can't even really get it. Like, to me, I'm like, man, like I get they're working on pad level and playing with leverage, but I'm like, you're not even able to really realistically strike. Him wearing that padded suit, that is an actual individual. It's like a moving sled now with all those pads. You can use it for pass rush, setting the edge, working different techniques, your hand placement. I love every bit of that, and it's those types of intentional, I guess, techniques that they're doing that I'm seeing that I feel like are going to make big differences. Because there's so many times I see coaches working drill, Smitty, at practice, whether it's in college or the NFL, and I'm like, they're just occupying time during indie drill. I don't like that. Mm-hmm. Show me a drill that can truly apply and translate to what these guys are going to be doing on a down-to-down basis. And I feel like I've seen a little bit more out of that, and I love that from Jared Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Well, they need to do that because one of the worst things they do is pass rush. Or lack thereof, I should say. So, if you got a guy that's able to teach, and I know pass rushing it's an art. There's an art to pass rushing. And a lot of these guys coming out of high school, they're bigger, faster, stronger. They're playing against 200-pound tackles and guys or fat guys that can't move. They just running around them, don't have to work hands, don't have to work, alternate moves or combo. They don't have to do that. And then when you get to big-time college football, you're going up guys that you're going to have to beat, 330-pound guys that are 6'6" and long. You're going to have counter moves. You're going to have to know how to dip and rip, squat that butt down, spin and elbow and spin back inside. Mm-hmm. But if you got somebody, here's one of my biggest things. I know we're up against the break right here, Chase. Guys are not teaching. There's a lot of coaches that don't understand. They understand football to a degree from X and O's, but when it comes down positional drill work and really helping players get that edge, to me, that's where you get when you got a former player helps, because you're able to teach them things that a lot of these coaches don't know. Like when I said, when I was South Carolina Alabama game last year, just telling one guy one little thing, and he goes out to the next series and he gets a sack because it's just, you can see and you understand. You've been against the best in America in the world. And so you're able to tell these guys things that they don't know. And I think that's great to have a guy. He even got the stuff on that now you can say, hey, man, this guy sits hard inside, work the edge hard, slap, rip, dip, and rip. Well, what if he gets back to that point? You know your levels. You get to the level of that quarterback, you got to work back inside, spin or power. I think that's awesome teaching. And it's definitely going to help these guys become better pass rushers.
And real quick, then that's why I was so high on Clem and Coach Owens when we hired those guys, right? Again, it's not me being biased because I'm a former player and those guys are former players. But I just know when it comes to teaching, when it comes to doing indie drills and really install, right, things that we know, right, all these key fundamentals, these guys have lived it. They have done it at the highest level, both of those coaches respectively. Then you add, Jared Johnson, who's an analyst out there. That's why I felt so strongly about Clem and Coach Owens and kind of the impact they would have just in that aspect alone, knowing how beneficial and valuable it would be. And I feel like we're already seeing some of those things pay off. We're already seeing some small dividends. Again, there's still a lot of work to be done. Not saying things are perfectly fixed or it's just all just complete 180 yet. But there are so many reasons to be encouraged and have a positive outlook on where things can go under these new coaches that we have brought on staff. Smith, you got some? I mean, if you got a few minutes, I can hold you during this break and let you come back out. Or
Sure.
me. Yeah, let's do that.
I got a few minutes.
Let's hit this top hour break. When we come back, we'll let Smitty ask a couple more questions. Then we'll keep on rolling right here on this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. All right, good deal. Listen, I owed it to Smitty, man, because we talked during his whole time. You got to ask like one question. Let's read some of these chats while we got a second here. Let me put that clip back of see some of those D linemen doing some of those drills. One thing I noted was Terrence Green, man. You could tell he lost some weight, man. He looks a lot more explosive. He looks a lot more explosive, in my opinion. You see him right here. Looks like he got the jump on Devin Tompkins, man. That's our projected nose tackle. Dynamic taxidermy. Roll Tide Roll. What's up, guys? QD's in there. He says, I think the light bulb has finally come on with his coaching staff. They now understand you have to be physical on both lines of scrimmage. That is non-negotiable. I mean, I'd hope that they'd known that, but maybe they really understand, like, it is vital. But I'm assuming that they probably knew that. But the calls ain't bad because C-Mel just going to start talking anyway. Chill. Listen, I gotta answer the questions, man. Come on, man. I gotta answer. I mean, we just answer the questions. Sharpshooters Podcast. What's up, man? Good to see you guys too. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Let's see. Jay Moneyman says they need to learn how to set alignment up for a move they want to use later in the game. Yeah, and that's what my dad was talking about with pass rush. Like, you know, you got your fastball, you got to have a counter move, you got to have a plan. And I felt like a lot of times the last couple of years, man, guys just didn't really like they had a plan or really even understood, right, like how pass rush really works. That's a really good rep by Big Steve. I feel like we're seeing a little bit of an evolution with a lot of these things. And I don't know if it's just
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely have to see. I mean, I already knew you were going to say that. I'm not saying it's.
Well, I mean, I don't think we can't jump because I like the drill work, but still, live bullets tell everything. I mean,
I said that. I said that before you came on.
Drill all you
I
want
knew you were going to say that.
When somebody, that's why I look at those tackling drills like a guy ain't gonna stand there when a guy got a tall sweep, bro. When you're doing angle tackling, you gotta, I hate this. Listen, sometimes you just gotta do live tackling. I understand injuries. Football's been going on for years. Even when they didn't have the technology, they didn't have the nutrition, they didn't have all this. We played football, and a lot of people played it for a long time. Sometimes, tackling is one of those things you only get better by practicing it live. You just have to. I mean, because you thinking a guy gonna stand there and just, let you hit him. No, it don't work that way. When you out there doing angling, tackling, I mean, come on, man. I mean, a back running with the ball this way, you talk to if you coming as a defender, you talk to get that head across. Right? He ain't just gonna stand there and say, okay, I'm waiting on you, bro. I mean, bro, he gonna hit that outside and try to get back inside. You're gonna have to be able to break down and be able to slide and wrap up. I mean, all this stuff just standing here like this, no. I get it. I'm just saying, tackling, you get better at tackling. You become it's teams that do the physical work in tackling are the best tackling teams, period.
Right.
It's period. Exclamation point.
And you're right. And that's why you have to have those periods, which they do. I just want to be clear. They go full tackle in certain periods during regular practice, not just scrimmages. We never even did that. So it's not as if they don't do. I want to be clear just because people might hear that and think they're not doing that and go at the coaches. You also do those because those these clips you got to remember from like their indie drills is early practice period, right? So they're just working on literally just near hip, near shoulder, transferring, right, their way. Like it's just rolling their hips. But you're right though. You definitely got to actually rep it. But see, like even watch him do this. They're working on sets, right? So depending on what they get from him, he's being the tackle right here. If he jumps at you real quick, expecting right work inside hands, right counter, might get a run block look, right, just a base block. I mean, look at that, convert to pass rush. Like, see, like I don't remember them working a bunch of stuff like this last year, and like to me that like I think it can pay dividends for these players, man. I really do. And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We got to roll pretty quick here. Smitty, I want to give you a few minutes real quick to see if you got one more question or so, because I talked pretty much the whole time you were on here. I'll give you that opportunity real quick, brother.
Thanks. And one quick thing I want to bring up. Miami hired a year or two ago Jason Taylor. Yeah, that Hall of Fame Jason Taylor to be their defensive line coach. And one thing that I got to admit, your dad was right. He was right about Coach Cap. And I had to say it to his face. But the thing is, though, folks got to remember also, the board had to hire that man in a pinch because his O-line coach went with Grubb. So sometimes at a pinch, you got to make do. But the thing is, I give them credit off. They did that self-reflect. Hey, this guy ain't cutting the mustard. He's not teaching our guys. We got to bring in a guy as a teacher. Same with Owen. But I'll say this. I know you got to run. Dane Lewis being healthy. You know me for long. I've been big on him being healthy and coming back because of his run blocking. And the one game he was somewhat healthy for was that Georgia game in Athens. They ran okay in that game. And I think that is something that people miss, like the rash of injuries on that part right there. And I think a healthy Dane Lewis would go. And I'll say this real quick and I'll run. Thanks for taking my call. Pastor, I told Christian a couple weeks ago that I had to visit my sister, my nephews in Atlanta. My nephews are fish taco boys. So I had to make them some red beans and rice, some real cornbread for them. When they tore that up, got to make a man out of them,
Yes, sir. That's, get rid of them fish tacos, man. Come on, they are good, though. I ain't gonna lie.
You need
Fish
to eat
tacos
some
are good.
fish
Yeah.
tacos. I mean,
they good, brother.
They're healthy.
All right, bro. Bless you, Smitty.
Appreciate
Listen,
you,
man.
Smitty.
You guys have a good one.
Don't
You
worry.
too, my
All right,
guy.
bro. I'm not playing no more. I'm good.
About what?
I ain't ate nothing. I go 18 hours intermittent fasting every single day. I go 18 hours, don't even eat.
Okay, but
And
when you do,
let's talk about
what,
something about
No. I'm saying you laugh at. You need to eat some fish tacos. It'd probably be good. It's healthy, man.
You don't know what I eat. You know what I
You
eat.
sit and eat on here half the time, so we all know what you eat, not just me. The whole
you
stream
want?
knows what
I
you
will
eat, man.
I bust grapes. So you one of them little run around, don't want to get touched right here. I bust grapes. I'll run through you. Boy, I run through you like milk toast. You hear me? That's what I do.
All right. I
Chase,
got
you hear me, Chase?
I got a clip I'll show you. We'll see who busts grapes.
Talking about I eat fish tacos.
You do, or no, you don't. I'm
almost 60 years old. Bring it on.
205. Oh my. Okay, maybe work on your mic because you about to blow the speakers. 205-342-9904. We got. Is Jarvis still there, Chase? He might have dropped. I'm not sure. Jarvis, you with us? Going once, twice, and sold to the next caller. 205-342-9904. All right. I think we're freed up right here, so we're good. We hit on our nuggets. I know we got some clips that I wanted to get to in a second. We got Jimmy Stein joining us at 12:30 via the streams, which would be cool, man. So we're rolling. We got a whole bunch playing.
Well, Jimmy Stein. What's that? I don't know who he is.
Jimmy Stein. He's covered Alabama football for a really long time. He'll be joining us at 12:30. Does a lot of media work with Alabama football. So we're looking forward to that. Any thoughts that you want to bring up on? I know you've been busy. I don't know if you've even been able to keep up with fall camp or anything you want to ask.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
talking
keep
to
up.
you real quick. I'm saying because go ahead. I mean, anything that you want to mention. I know we talked about the quarterback battle already with Smitty, but I want to give you an opportunity.
I think one of the chat even said this. The bottom line, if you came on the board, like for me right now, it's early. 2 weeks down the road, we're going to start seeing after a scrimmage or so. It normally separates, right? Players will separate. Those position battles will separate. During drill work, pre-practice, we used to call it. where the media can come out and they ain't gonna do too much. Just give you a little bit of video for your podcast or whatever you're doing. But for me, it's two things. Now three things really. But how good would they be in the trenches? What are they doing to be better from a physical standpoint, from an offensive line standpoint, where they can run the ball, catch this word, effectively? That they can be more consistent in running the football where they're not getting these young quarterbacks in situations where it's third and long, when you got an offensive line that's not proven, when you got quarterbacks who have not been proven yet, putting them into these kind of lose situations. What are they doing better there? Number two, and that the offensive line goes in hand to hand. Number two is the defensive line with the edge guys go hand in hand for me. Will they be able to stop the run? Will they be able to play? We talked about this before. Play on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Penetration, getting in the backfield of the offense, tackle for losses, getting the other team in negative situations on second and third down where they can rush the quarterback. And when they have that opportunity to rush the quarterback, my question is totally this. Who's going to be that guy? If I'm over there coaching right now, I'm looking to tell them who's going to be the guy. Okay? Who's going to be the guy when we get them in the third and long that they're going to give that quarterback Hades, right? They're going to give that tackle Hades. Who's going to be that guy? Who's going to separate? Who's going to be the guy that I can count on to make plays and rushing the pass? If Alabama can do those things and get better and be more efficient and more effective in those two areas, I think they're going to be pretty good. Now, if they are also those quarterbacks, because they are highly rated, highly talented. Forget the rating. They're both highly talented guys. You can just see they're tall, they're long, they got rocket arms, they can run, they can extend plays, they can improvise, they can do all of those things. So they got the talent. But if you can't protect, if they're getting consistent pressure, those guys are going to make mistakes. They're going to force throws, errant passes. They're going to try to run, make something out of nothing. The ball going to be on the ground. Then this team is in trouble. So for me, and I'll wrap this in the bow real quick, it's all about the trenches. New offensive line coach, what are we going to see? Because if they don't get better there, they're going to have an extremely long season. And they got running backs, they got receivers, they got DBs, they got skill players. We know that. But the place where they have dominated for a century and a half, for a decade and a half with Nick Saban, and what separated them was their play in the trenches. They can run the ball when they wanted to run the ball. They can close out games in the fourth quarter, right? If they had guys that can get after the quarterback. They made the transition there with Nick Saban, bringing guys like yourself and all these, Anthony and all these other guys that they brought in through the years. They knew they had to be able to rush the passer. They got longer, they got faster, they got more athletic on the outside, and then boom, there's been a collapse in the last 2 years. Excuse me, maybe I would say 3 years.
I was about to say, say probably a few years.
Yeah,
probably,
even though Nick Saban last year wasn't good at all either, but they did have what is that, Minnesota? They had a couple guys still that
they had guys, but collectively, no. That was the weird thing, man.
Right.
Like, I mean, even on the offensive line, I mean, you had J.C. Latham, who was a tank, right? First round right tackle, first round guard, and Tyler Booker. But it was just like collectively those.
They had one guy here and there, but they didn't. As a unit, that cohesiveness. Yeah, it has not been there, and over the last 5, I would go 5 years, right? Yeah, we'll go cinco, since you like talking Spanish.
Speaking of that, I think I'm scheduled to do a Spanish interview here soon, which will be really fun. I'll keep you guys updated on that. I will mention this since you're talking about the trench play. You said they've got backs, they got receivers. Sounds like you're confident in those skill groups. Of course, we already know the secondary. We can check that box. So to me, it sounds like you're confident because remember last season. The running backs, they played a role in the shortcomings in the running game as well, right? Of course, it's hard to work when you don't have it going on the way it's supposed to in front of you, but I felt we lacked that explosiveness, somebody that could create, had the ability to make things when things weren't really there, right? There are backs out there that can do that. Go look at Lacey at Ole Miss, right? Go look at a number of these guys, right? They can find a way to get a few extra yards. They can pop an explosive even when things might not necessarily be lined up right there. They got the vision, they got a cutback lane that they find. Sounds like you're a little bit more confident in that. And I would agree because I'll be honest, and I don't know if you've seen it, but Daniel Hill, he's had a little bit of an offseason transformation. He looks a lot better, I would say, right now than he did a season ago. AKD, a guy that was, highly touted coming out of high school. He wasn't ready last year, but he's made some really nice strides this offseason. And right now, he's been, having a solid camp. But then, if you remember back in spring, you got to see a little glimpse of the two freshman running backs that we have in Crowell and Brown. Right? They're both young guys, but I'll be honest, they might have some of the most, I don't know, encouraging outlook moving forward, right, in that running back room, just from what they've shown in such a limited amount of time.
And listen, I think they've had that. I mean, they had the running backs, Jam Miller, Jam.
Jam, yes.
I mean, come on.
Jam was their best all-around running back they had. People kind of piled up on him. The dude was battling injuries. He was the closest thing to kind of what we're describing. He could block. He could create a little bit. He had a little bit of twitch and explosiveness to him. Maybe not, like some other guys, but outside of him, though, I mean, it really was Daniel Hill, who, just last year, I don't think he played behind his pads enough. And clearly when you're that big, you're not going to have that explosiveness like you would out of other guys. I liked what I saw out of Kevin Riley. He had flashes, but again, it's just the consistency wasn't there. But I agree with him, though. I'm confident with the guys that you have in that room. I think they're good enough for what you need to get done, without a doubt. It's just a matter of them being able to just kind of take that next step. I mean, you clearly have opportunities available. There's a bunch of guys in that room competing, but somebody asked this last week. I would say the running back competition is almost wide open, right? Whoever can make an impact. I don't think it really matters who you are. If you can make a difference, you're going to get some action, and I think we'll see that. In terms of wide receivers, I don't have an update on Lotsy or Brooks, but we have Jimmy Stein joining us at 12:30. Maybe he has one for us, and we'll ask him when we get there. But first, we got to hit a timeout. We'll come back. We'll keep talking fall camp. We got plenty to discuss here. Again, we got media coming up, so maybe we can try to squeeze in a clip or so and roll from there right here on this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. My guy Luke Kuechly got inducted, man. Got his gold jacket at the young age of 35, man. That was really cool, man. Really cool to see. Nobody in the running back room had over 300 yards last year that returned. Feed the youngins. Well, I mean, listen, I wouldn't write off some of the guys that were in the room last year just yet, right? See what they can do with some of these new faces, some of the new, I guess the changes that have been made. I mean, I think you'll see a lot more out of Daniel Hill and A.K. Deere. Both those guys seem to be at the top of the totem pole right now. But Oregon had two young, I think both guys were true freshman running backs last year, and they were effective, right? So, as we talk about, that's one of the positions where I feel like the biggest hurdle is, can you protect, right? When you're in there on third down, that is a very big piece. But so far, both of those young running backs have showed that they've got some really high upside. Running back room only had 4 runs of 20 or more all year. Listen, I'm with you guys, and that's why I clearly said the running back room, they contributed to the problem last year as well. It wasn't only the offense line, which is that bad. The running back room did not have guys that were explosive enough. They didn't have guys that really could, create, make something out of nothing. You know what I mean? You got to have a little bit of that. Football is not always going to be perfect, right? So I acknowledge that, but I'm just telling you guys that I think they're going to take some steps where they will be better. I'm not sitting there saying we're going to have the 2013 Alabama running back room where you look back and you got all those dudes that room had in it. I'm not saying that. But I think these guys are talented enough. Like my dad said, you need an effective running game, something that's efficient, that creates balance. This offense, they want to throw the football anyway. I think I think the guys that we have are plenty talented to give you that much. That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not saying we're going to have multiple 1,000-yard rushers. I'm not even saying we have a guy that rushes for 1,000 yards. I don't know. And I don't even think that's the biggest factor there. I think you just need to be effective. 2 years ago, we had 2 first-rounders. Parker Brailsford playing left tackle to center. I don't know how many O-line in the country had that type of personnel. Same O-line. We haven't had good coaching at O-line since Flood. Yeah, I think coaching has been an issue for sure. Development. I don't think we've recruited extremely well in the trenches either over the last several years. So I think that's something to note. But you're right. We had players, right? And that's why my whole thing was this offseason. I don't think we just went and got a bunch of guys that are better, that's better talent necessarily on the offensive line. I think we had good guys to work with. They may be slightly better fits to an extent. They might be more hungry. Competition might be higher. The coaching should be better. I think all those factors. So even though the talent might, that's why I said, talent might be similar, could be the same, could be a little less, to be determined. But I think all those other factors are a little bit more important right now, honestly. Just saw Jaden Roberts was cut by the Eagles. I didn't see that, but he's a talented young man. He just so many injuries that he's dealt with. He's always been a little bit more stiff. I don't remember the exact injuries he's had, but his lateral movement wasn't always great. So maybe some of that stuff is just kind of maybe limiting him a little bit. I mean, again, the NFL, bro. I mean, you can ask my dad. It's not. I mean, talking about the best of the best. So if you struggle a little bit in the SEC, best believe when you get to that next level, I mean, it's.
Well, I mean, he's a guy that he'll land somewhere and probably be a practice squad guy because he's got great size, movement.
Strong.
He's banged up, he's strong, so he'll find himself on a practice squad. Like we used to only could have 5 on the practice squad. That was it. Now they got you can take a guy that's been in the league 7 years and put him on a practice squad. I mean, before it used to be like you had to be 1 or 2 years, right? So football has afforded guys an opportunity to play more so than I've ever seen. So, but a guy like Jaden Roberts, I think he'll find himself somewhere because, he can play or he can get somewhere, right fit, right system, right offensive line coach can help, turn him around. So I think he'll find somewhere he'll get picked up. And again, this is where playing in Alabama will also help you because you got so many coaches and so many contacts and relationships where they're going to know about him. So he'll end up finding a place, albeit it might be a practice squad, but who cares? I think they make six figures now very easily on practice squad.
And welcome back into this Monday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, we're breaking down fall camp here in Alabama. 5 practices in. Offense is speaking to the media. I'm sure we got some of those pulled up, but we got Jimmy Stein coming up here in a few minutes. So, I mean, kind of pushing it a little close. I can check and see if we got one that's maybe a few minutes that we could start. But really, I feel like we've hit on, Ryan Grubb's already up. Matter of fact, let's do that. Let's go ahead and listen to it. It's 8 minutes, so we'll listen to as much as we can, and then we'll go from there. So let's go and dive straight into Ryan Grubb, Alabama offensive coordinator, addressing the media post-practice number 5 today here in Tuscaloosa.
Running backs, how are they progressing now that you're about a week in the camp?
I'm glad you asked that today. I thought we had some really, really good runs today. A couple pops on some cutback lanes. If you guys got the shoulder square, Daniel had a nice one. TV had another good one. AK Deer had a touchdown on a rail route. It was a competitive day for the running back. So I felt like it was coming from all different directions. Everybody was showing up and doing a really good job. So I think that the competition, is held strong. Those guys I think that's one of the biggest parts right now is the guys feeling that level of competition in the room.
Can you elaborate on AK? What have you seen from him over the last year that's kind of put him in this position to contribute?
Maturity. And I mean that. I can remember being right out here in fourth quarter with him and just the things that he thought were possible at that time compared to what he thinks possible now is very different. So I think he's a great teammate. He's a guy that can lighten the mood, spark guys a little bit, and that's been something that's been really enjoyable. But also, just being a better football player, like AK understanding protections was one of the issues of getting on the field, and he's come a long ways.
Who is the offense having the hardest time blocking right now?
We got a couple good guys on defense. DT's been phenomenal as a player. He plays out on the edge. He'll play the B gap on you. He's a really tough player. He's super versatile. And then, obviously Yanze, think the world of him. And I thought, just early in camp, I've seen Yanze kind of take it to another level. So, he's done a great job. Red Morgan, I think is fantastic off the edge as a nickel. I think he's one of the most slippery guys I've seen out there. And then obviously Hub, when he pressures, is really, really tough to block as well.
What's allowed Racing to sort of translate to the SEC and then to play with his a little bit of lack of size at that position?
Yeah, Racing's bigger than people think. I mean, he operates, over 300 pounds pretty consistently. And, I just always tell him he kind of looks like a retired surfer. He's got a little bit of that going on. So that's not, at first you're kind of looking at him like, how big is this guy? But he's got decent size. He's super athletic, though. And I think that's the part that when he got out there and just played, I realized he had the athleticism and physicality to do this. Especially against our front, I think that gives him the confidence that he knows he can do it.
During the time we were out there, we got to see a little bit of the tight ends going up against the edge guys.
Yeah.
What do you like about the physicality of your tight end group?
Well, I mean, I think it starts with how that room has operated, honestly, since the off season. I would say they might be the closest room on the team. They support each other, they push each other, and so when they don't see it and the bar or the standard isn't reached, they're not scared to challenge each other. I think the drill work that Coach Owens works with those guys is extremely demanding. The run game piece has really come along with those guys, but I think the drill work looks like the team reps, and I think that's where it starts when you can transition, achieving what you emphasize, and showing up on team reps. That's a huge part of it.
I know it's still pretty early, but do you feel like one of the quarterbacks is starting to separate themselves from the rest of the pack?
Not yet. No, not yet. They've been doing a good job. It's been an even battle.
How's Coach Ellis been with those guys, and is his approach with quarterbacks had to be maybe a little different than it was with tight ends?
Yeah, obviously Coach Ellis was a really good quarterback himself. Has coached that position before, and so I think that transition honestly was probably easier for him than the transition to coaching tight ends. I think he's a natural quarterback coach. He's got good demeanor. Coach Ellis is one of the best guys that he's a relationship builder. And I think you got to have that in the quarterback room. They got to feel the belief. They got to know that you're knowledgeable and you understand structures of defenses and where to put the ball. But at the end of the day, they need guys that can have their back. And Coach Ellis is outstanding at that.
We won't talk to you until into the scrimmage on Thursday. What are you looking from both his quarterbacks to move the needle in that competition on Thursday at the scrimmage?
Yeah, I think the command of I keep saying command, and I think one of the things that I've been challenged them just now is command of a practice. I want to know what it feels like when the chips are down a little bit in a practice, or maybe we had a 3 and out and to move the ball. What did they look like? And how are their teammates responding to them? So certainly you can't just have the rah guy start if you can't throw the freaking ball, but I'm definitely looking for command because they're both capable physically of making all the plays. Now you're starting to look at decision making, completion percentages, turnovers, explosives, how all those things obviously weigh out. But then also just, does it look like that guy believes, like, I'm going to make this play? And, both those guys are getting better at that every day.
All right, so we're going to pause that there because we got to hit a timeout. When we're coming back, we'll be joined by Jimmy Stein of Locked On Bama, longtime member of the media here in Alabama. So we'll talk with Jimmy about all the latest going on with Alabama's fall camp coming up right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, good stuff. Let's get Jimmy on board and welcome him in here while we're on break real quick. All right, let's we'll go to this lineup. Jimmy, just bear with me, man. I'm running the ship here.
Hey, no problem. No problem. Hey,
Jimmy, welcome in, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hey, guys.
Absolutely. This is my dad. They call him the pastor of pain, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Corey.
Oh, I know. I know him. Good to see you.
What's up, Jimmy? How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah,
sure.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we have a lot of folks that always they toss your name out there because I'm always trying to figure out, hey, who are some more people you guys want to hear from as we kind of get rolling. And
well, I appreciate it. And congratulations on your show doing so well. I know you picked up that big award. Well earned.
Thank you.
I'm in Tuscaloosa full time now. I haven't lived in Tuscaloosa full time till recently, so I hear you on the show pretty frequently as I'm driving around.
Oh, nice. I appreciate that, man. Well, yeah, well, good. Well, now that we got you on here, man, you'll be representing right here in T-Town too. So we're looking forward to that, man. Have you gotten a chance to? I know you get to go out there every now and then. Cause I feel like you've been at scrimmages and stuff, but or even just talk with some folks. So yeah, I'll ask you when we come back. Of course, we're on break, but
Sure. No, I have not been out there this cycle yet. I mean, obviously, I was in the spring. I saw a scrimmage, and I saw obviously a day, and I'm caught up to date with everything that's happened. But no, I haven't been out there this fall yet, and I think they've only got tomorrow's a media day, and I think there's just one more. It's so limited now, but
Yeah.
the video is pretty good.
Yeah, and I was telling somebody, I'm like, I think fans would appreciate the videos that they get from all the media members recording. Literally is what they would see if they were out there with the media, and there's so many different angles. So you literally are, if you're watching the clips, seeing the same thing that the media sees. So you can form your own opinions and things from that alone. So it's always cool. I will say scrimmage, I think Thursday. So that's going to be interesting.
Yep.
Do you know if they're doing it in the stadium? Because they sometimes
mix
it up.
It is going to be it's in the stadium Thursday and the following Thursday. It's going to be in Bryant Denny. But this Thursday is the one where Red Elephant Club and I think some levels of Yay, Alabama, maybe. I mean, there'll be quite a few people there this Thursday. I'm not sure about the following Thursday. That might just be Crimson Tide Foundation. I'm not sure, but there'll be some people there. But it'll be a couple thousand people in the stands this Thursday.
You know what comes with that? We'll have plenty of nuggets coming. I need to check on the time though, because with them practicing before, it's hard for me to.
It's in the morning. It's in the morning, Christian. I think it's around 10 or 10:30 again, and that's different. They used to scrimmage almost exclusively like at 1 o'clock or so, but this year they're scrimmaging at 10 a.m. too. So that'll bleed into your show.
I was praying it was going to be an afternoon one,
I know.
so I could get out
there
a little bit easier, but. Yeah, I'm just going to have to go up there and pull up the tape on one of the meeting rooms. That's fine.
Well, you'll get a lot out of that anyway.
100%. No, that's.
What's that? What's your helmet up there, Jimmy? That's up top.
The helmet up top is David Palmer. David Palmer's. That's a mini helmet signed by David Palmer. I got a big full size helmet that Coach Saban signed for me a few years back, but David Palmer up top, he's one of my all-time favorites. I was in school here when Palmer, well, I guess I was a senior when Palmer was a freshman, but he's one of my all-time favorites.
He's he was a phenomenal football player. He was very dynamic,
Yeah.
After David Palmer, if he played in the system and offenses the way they run today, and the lack of the physicality of defenses now that they can't be. I bet his numbers would be just ginormous if he played in this kind of wide open system.
Never been another guy like him here. He can make you miss in a phone booth,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring us back, fellas. Here we go. And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Excited to announce a new guest that's going to be joining us pretty frequently here on the Miller's Edge. None other than long-term media member here in Alabama, Jimmy Stein of Locked On Bama. Of course, see him on Cover Crimson. At least I get to catch up with you and Clint on there a good bit. You guys do an awesome job, whatever platform you guys are on. I know you're on pretty much everything. I saw you on Bama football on YouTube. Now you're on the Miller's Edge. So welcome in, Jimmy. We appreciate you joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Real honor to be here with you too.
Absolutely, man.
You're welcome, Jimmy.
Yeah, always welcome on here, man. As we continue to grow, it's always fun getting to collaborate and get new voices on here. So I'm looking forward to it, man, and having a nice, fun season talking some Alabama football, which we'll start there, Jimmy. Training camp, where we're in the thick of it, man. 5 days already into it. Everybody's burning to know the latest, the intel, kind of what's been going on. I know you got a lot of eyes and ears over there. Would love to kind of just get your overall impressions, Jimmy, of kind of what we've seen so far, been hearing through 5 days of training camp here in Tuscaloosa.
I think to me what stands out the most, guys, is the emphasis on physicality. I think pretty much everything they've done since the Indiana game, going all the way back to the aftermath of Indiana, is there's just been an overall emphasis on physicality, especially on offense, but defense too. Defense in the sense that they've gotten so much bigger up front. They're a lot bigger up front than they were a year ago. Kane Womack has talked about how they were one of the smallest defensive fronts in the SEC last year. This year, they're going to be one of the biggest because it was such an emphasis for them. And on the offensive side of the line of scrimmage, they not only go get a new offensive line coach with an extensive NFL background in Adrian Clem, but they go get a tight end coach that was an offensive line coach himself. You know, at Louisville, the very first guy they get out of the transfer portal in the last cycle was a 265-pound tight end. There's a lot of talk about a lot more 12 personnel this fall. So you're kind of replacing a situation last year where you played a lot of 11 personnel with the tight end in Josh Cuevas, who's really a pass receiver first. Now you're going to be replacing him with over 500 pounds of tight end in Caleb Edwards and Josh Ford. So to me, it's just this emphasis on the physicality. Now it's got to pay off in terms of increased production in the run game on offense, doing a little better stopping the run on defense, because unless it pays off in the games, it doesn't really matter that you emphasized it in practice. But to me, that's what stands out to me, guys, about fall camp this year, even to some extent in the spring. Just this seems like every decision they make is about trying to be a little more physical on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
No, I agree.
Jimmy,
go ahead.
Okay. Jimmy, I totally agree with you, and I was making that point earlier because you look at this team, right? You look at the history of Caleb DeBoer, and, coming from the West Coast, Washington, where he had a lot of success in playing football a certain way. One of the things I've always said that coming in the South is a different brand. I joked around, we're not eating fish tacos, we're eating collard greens and cornbread down here, baby. You know what I mean? We'll meet and drink, And so he came with a fish taco mentality and thought that might work. It worked to a degree, but when you get to the thick of things, when you got to win critical games, right, this is got to happen. You got to be able to run the football. You got to be able to get games in the fourth quarter and get that 4-minute offense on the field and close out games. You have to have a defensive line that can stop the run and get teams in third and long, and then have guys on the outside that can get pressure, cause turnovers, get off the football field. And that has been the thing that's been lacking. And I'm going to say even before Caleb DeBoer, I would say Nick Saban's last season for sure, we start to see that change a little bit. So my question to you, has that been a result of maybe missing some guys, not getting the top-notch interior guys, both sides of the ball in the trenches, or has it been more maybe the system in Caleb DeBoer, his mindset offensively and defensively?
No, that's a great question, Corey. To me, it's about a little bit more of the scheme. But for instance, what I want to talk about is like at Washington in 2023. And I think we all know that's the reason that Kalen DeBoer is here. What happened at Washington in 2023, making Kalen DeBoer a national elite, candidate, getting Washington all the way to the national championship game. That offensive line won the Joe Moore Award, and everyone remembers that. So they kind of know, DeBoer and Grubb knows what it looks like to put a quality offensive line out there, but it wasn't necessarily a quality offensive line that just mashed people. That's not what they did. They led the nation in passing yards. They threw it all over the place. But what was interesting is they did have a 1,000-yard back. They did have a 1,000-yard back. They could still run it when they needed to or wanted to. That's what hasn't happened at Alabama yet. It kind of feels like it's been under construction for a while. And again, they're not going to go just to mashing people. They never did that. That's not who Greg Byrne hired. He didn't hire the 3 yards in a cloud of dust guy, or he didn't hire the staff from 1995 Nebraska. This is they're going to want to throw the ball, but they have to be able to run it when they have to. Last year, they could not. Now it's about, okay, we need to pick up these yards on the ground. It's 3rd and 2. Last year, it seemed like guys, when it was 3rd and 2 and we needed to pick it up on the ground, they had to put Jeremy Bernard in the backfield. They had to run a reverse. They had to do it with misdirection. That's just not going to work long-term in this league, like Corey's talking about. It's not going to work forever unless you're a little more physical at the point of attack. But it's never going to look like 5 maulers up front and leading the league in rushing. I don't think that's who DeBoer and Grubb are, but they also don't have to be. They just have to be more efficient with it than they were a year ago.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And to your point, back to even talking about the tight end room, Jimmy, and the offensive line, one thing I was going to say is Danny Lewis. We've heard him mentioned a number of times now from various coaches, and having him back healthy, I think, is really important. You add him in that fold just with that physicality. We just heard from Ryan Grubb, at least half of his interview from today following practice. He talked about the running game, and they had some explosive runs today. And you talked about just like the coaching changes. I felt strongly about it. I reached out to certain guys that had connections with Clem. J.C. Hassenauer, my former teammate, we were in the same class. He played for him with the Pittsburgh Steelers. everything that he told me about Clem is what we're seeing and hearing right now. And that's why I felt that it was such a good hire in the sense, again, we got to see it come to, it's got to come to fruition. We got to see it on the field. But in terms of having a young offensive line that needs development, needs teaching, I felt, you had mentioned just something like with the system and stuff. I feel like we have not had great coaching with the offensive line room in a couple of years. Just being honest with you, I don't think the development aspect has been great. And I don't think we had the best, I guess, really recruitment of some of these guys like we had prior years. For whatever reason, it seemed like we just hadn't really hit on those players in the trenches nearly as much. But something this year feels a little bit different, whether it's already Clem and Coach Owens leaving their mark. Like you mentioned, physicality being a point of emphasis. I think that's huge and definitely necessary. But I just, even Jared Johnson, like we were talking earlier about him working out with the pads, and people are like, chuckling about it. But I'm saying, like, from a former player perspective, that's something that they desperately needed. And Ryan Grubb hit on literally what we just were talking about having these drills. He's talking about Coach Owens, and having those things apply and translate to what they're doing when it comes to 9-on-7, 11-on-11, where it really needs to matter. And to me, all the signs right now are pointing to in the direction that they found some pieces for their staff that was desperately needed, and I think can ultimately end up having a really positive impact. To be determined, it's still way too soon, but I think they're trending in that right direction. We're joined by Jimmy Stein of Locked On Bama, and also cover Crimson, I believe, as well. You can catch him pretty much all over the place covering Alabama football. Jimmy, I want to ask you about those running backs since we're talking about the offense. A lot of the same guys from last season, they played a role in some of the shortcomings in the running game. The vision, just the lack of explosiveness, didn't really create enough like they probably could have or should have. But they've been joined by two really talented young freshmen as well. I expect Daniel Hill, with the transformation he's had, to make another step. I think A.K. Deere, we heard Ryan Grubb talk about how much more comfortable he is. What are your expectations for that running back room? We know that they're working on the offensive line, but for those guys specifically, do you think the pieces are there to have that effective running game that you mentioned?
Yeah, last year it just wasn't good enough, but there were also a lot of injury problems back there. Daniel Hill was banged up in fall camp. I'm not sure he ever really was absolutely 100% at any point. Jam Miller was the primary back. He got hurt 3 different times, including a concussion. And if you watch Jam's numbers, they were pretty good. Then he gets the concussion. They were really never again good after that point. Then Kevin Riley gets his turn. He breaks his jaw. A.K. Deere was a true freshman. Hey, sometimes at that position, true freshmen are ready. Sometimes they're not. It does appear that A.K. Deere is having a nice fall camp this time around. Maybe last year it was just too much too soon. But the room just wasn't good enough last year. But I do think injuries had a lot to do with that. Right now, they're all healthy. Daniel Hill's lost the weight. I think in terms of what I would have asked, and obviously Coach Gillespie did this at running back, Coach G, is Daniel Hill needed to get quicker. To me, he's just sort of lacked some burst. And obviously being a 230-pound guy, there's only so much burst you can have. But Daniel Hill kind of a little slow out of the block maybe. So he's cut some weight, gained some quickness, exactly what he needed. Kevin Riley needed to add that weight. It's almost like, hey, if we could have taken it from Daniel Hill and given some to Kevin, that would have worked out really well. And that's kind of what they've done here. Riley, a little bigger and stronger. He's got to run through contact a little better than he did a year ago, but that's normal for a young back, just normal development. What's exciting to me about the room, guys, is A.K. Deere being in year 2 and probably being more ready than he was directly out of Quitman High School in Mississippi. And E.J. Crowell. Now, he's a true freshman, but he's a pretty advanced guy. I've been watching him since he was in the 10th grade at Jackson High School in Alabama. This has been a physical back. He's a check every box guy. He can make yards between the tackles. He can bounce it outside. He can catch the ball. He's not built like a normal 18-year-old freshman back. I know he's a reclassification guy. He skipped his senior year, but he had also skipped a grade when he was younger. So he's actually the correct age for a true freshman. I think that makes a big difference because some of these reclass guys are actually really young, like Ryan Williams was, and now Austin Mack reclassified. He's a young guy. But E.J. Crowell is 18, soon to be 19. He seems physically ready. There's still the mental part of it. I'm sure they didn't ask him to pick up a lot of blitzes. He didn't have Christian Miller coming off the edge when he was at Jackson High School. I think picking up the blitz and catching the ball, learn all the little things. Probably in high school, he's mostly just, hey, pitch the ball and run to the end zone, and no one could tackle him at that level. But now it's about learning the little things. A little too much maybe for A.K. Deer a year ago. We'll see if it's too much too soon for EJ, but I don't think so, guys. It's a prediction or a projection, but I think EJ Crowell is going to have a big year.
Jimmy Stein, our guest here on the Miller's Edge. Jimmy, let's flip the script. I'm a defensive guy. I love defense. I love, hitting quarterbacks and big tackles in the backfield, smashing folk. Let's talk about this, this Womack defense. I've kind of been up and down on him, to be honest with you. I just felt like our pass rush was lacking a great deal. I know in the back end, I think a lot of people have more confidence in the back end, veteran guys back there, cornerback, safeties, those positions. But again, they haven't had a guy. You mentioned Christian. You mentioned, guys that get up the quarterback long range. You can say, hey, we're going to put you in one-on-one situation, go get the quarterback. They haven't had that guy. And I think two of the best guys that they had up front transferred, or Ohio State, I believe. So who's going to be the guy? And I was saying earlier, who's going to be that guy that says, let me do my thing. Give it to me, coach. I'm going to get us off. Who is that guy?
I think it's going to be Yanze Pierre. I mean, he's their best natural pass rusher playing that wolf spot. He replaced Quay Russaw after Russaw was hurt last year, and he wasn't really giving that spot back to him after, Russaw got healthy later in the year. Yanze didn't want to give that spot back, and I think he's Alabama's best pass rusher. But here's the thing. I think Yanze can have a big year, and I think he could even – last year I think 8 sacks and didn't start until game 5. Now starting a whole year and being a year older, I even think he might even be able to give you that double-digit sack type season. He's that kind of talent. He's also developed into an every down linebacker, not just a third down guy. He can hold up and set the edge on first and second down against the run. But I think, Corey, to your point, and this is big, they got to find another guy. If you just have one guy that's good at getting to the quarterbacks, you can be schemed up. If you just got one and the offense can put a tight end over there, chip him with the back, you really need a guy on the other side. I think that's a real challenge here for Kane Womack in fall camp is who are you putting on the other side? Is it going to be Justin Hill coming into year 2? They got a transfer from South Carolina, Desmond Umazulu. Maybe he's a guy. Devin Tompkins is going to play strong side defensive end that they call Bandit. They're going to bring him in, but he's over 300 pounds. It'd be kind of crazy if he's, an 8-9 sack guy at 300 pounds. But he was bought in just to get bigger up front in terms of dealing with the run. But finding a second pass rusher is huge. I do think Yanze Pierre can be Alabama's best pass rusher in terms of racking up a sack total maybe since Will Anderson and Dallas Turner were here. Frankly, I don't think we've really had a 10-sack guy since then.
Well, and
you mentioned 300 guy real quick. I just want to say it's not shut up, Christian. They got to get interior guys, although they may not get the numbers. But if your interior guys are not pushing that pocket, collapsing that pocket, where those outside guys now can make big plays, that's a problem. So you mentioned that 300-pound guy. I think they need to be quicker and bigger inside. Those quick swim moves, those quick rip moves that they can really push that pocket to force that quarterback out. And now those outside guys can get sacked. So I think it's very imperative that they find some guys inside, though the sack numbers may not be high, but can push the pocket and make sure those guys get flushed out of that pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. This is why you need to do your homework, man. Hopefully you meant what Jimmy was answering, the second guy, because clearly Yanze Pierre is the guy. He had 8.5 sacks last year. And the guy, this guy here, man. Jimmy, yes, you're right. Is the second guy. I think that's what
I know that, but the second guy, but I'm saying the interior guys are important as well.
I'll explain this to you too. That's why Jimmy brought up Devin Tompkins, because he fits exactly what you're saying. He plays bandit, but also tackle, right? And realistically, in sub packages, he's going to kick down, and he's going to be playing in that 4-eye 3 technique, and he's going to be able to rush from the interior, and he is literally got the mass and athleticism to be a problem across the defensive line, especially in those pass rushing situations. So I'll be honest.
To Corey's point, they're longer inside. That's good. They're longer inside. They should be a better pass rush group inside because Tim Keenan was a physical presence and a leader, and I like him, and that's why he's a Los Angeles Ram. He's a plugger, but Tim wasn't going to get after the quarterback. He's only 6'1", 6'2", but they bought in a 6'5" guy from Oregon, Kedrick Bingley Jones in year 6 from Mississippi State. London Simmons, not super long, but he's around 6'3". Steve Boomwa. I think they've got increased athleticism in the interior and some length. They should be able to push the pocket a little better than they could a year ago.
I agree 100% with you, Jimmy. Those guys on the interior, I think, have that type of disrupt ability, or the potential at least to do so. And that is going to help the guys on the outside. But to his point, like you mentioned, I think the guy opposite of Beyonce Pierre is going to be critical, right? Because like you mentioned, chip protection, right? Just starting to kind of, slide over there. You can disrupt the pass rusher. We all know that. But I really think Justin Hill is going to come along. And they brought Zulu in. I think he's only got around 2 sacks in his career, so I don't expect him to be, an 8-sack guy. But I think he can give you some reps there. But Justin Hill, to me, I just looking at him, I think
don't let the Gamecock come to Alabama. y'all won't be able to shut me up.
What do I mean? I just saying. I mean, for the Gamecocks, I mean, I think he's got some more meat you can get off the bone there, but we'll have to see. But I like Justin Hill on that one. Jimmy, I know we're running against the clock, and I know you've been gracious with your time. I got one more question for you before you let you go. Just a broad one. Any general, I guess, nuggets or intel things that you're hearing just from fall camp, maybe that you want to drop here, or maybe somebody that's kind of been stepping up? I know you mentioned the quarterback battle kind of right now is really close. So any more nuggets on that, or just something that you want to leave the listeners with before you go, since we're 5 days through camp so far?
Yeah, speaking of quarterbacks, to me, it's interesting. We all talk to people who are close to the program, and a couple of good sources, guys that anyone would say, well, that guy knows what he's talking about. A couple of good sources tell me, hey, Austin Mack might be a little ahead. And then another couple of good sources, you'd say, hey, equally good, they know what's going on out there, say, well, Keelan's a little bit ahead. So that to me is fascinating. To me, this is how I interpret that when I've got dueling sources that are kind of they don't know who the quarterback. I think the scrimmage starting Thursday, the scrimmage is where they're going to work this out. You can be a little better than the other guy in some drills and what they're doing in the various periods of practice, but the scrimmage in the stadium, which is the closest thing to real football that they do before the season starts, the scrimmages are going to decide whether it's Austin or Keelan. But I do think it's close. And the good news for Alabama fans is the staff thinks they can win with either guy. It's not like they're choosing the lesser of two evils. I think they feel like they can win with Austin, they can win with Keelan, but they're going to pick the guy that moves the team and doesn't throw it to the defense.
Yeah, that's always important. Don't want to have those turnovers.
Yeah. You know what? And I think I'm going to agree with your first source. And I hadn't even been there, but I've been saying Austin Mack still has a little bit of the mental edge and just the overall academia of the offense, been around a little bit longer. Therefore, I think the Kelly Boyle's offense going to be a little bit more confident, saying, hey, you take the reins. Now, but I don't think he's going to be very slow if that's not working, to say, I need to get my highly favorite, talented guy in there. So I think you may even see both. I know, both quarterbacks. I think you might have to go into game 1 or 2 to see, let them play out some full live bullet games to see who really got command of this offense and can lead this football team. So I wouldn't even be shocked if that's what we see.
Coach Saban would tell you, you're going to need them both.
Yeah,
that's what Coach Saban would say.
No, that's true, and I guess it is a good problem to have that you feel so confident in either one. Jimmy, I can't thank you enough for joining us, man. It's been fun, and it flew by. I wish we had more time. We're running against the clock. We got 2 breaks to hit in 4 minutes. So, Jimmy, before we let you go, man, please tell everybody how they can keep up with all the great work that you're doing and all the networks and all the good coverage that you got coming.
Hey, appreciate that, Christian. Locked on Bama. I got six shows a week with my co-host Luke Robinson. It's a 30-minute show. We cut up a little bit. It's a little bit like a sitcom. But then a couple times a week, I'm on now with Travis Ryer on Cover Crimson now that Clint's moved on to BOL. And Travis and I, it's a little bit more like a drama. So it's like a TV star. I do a little sitcom with Luke and a drama with Travis.
We'll definitely be.
I love it. That's what's got to be, baby.
Oh yeah, gotta have some entertainment in there mixed in. Jimmy Stein, we appreciate you, brother. And look forward to doing it again next week, man.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to it.
Take care, Jimmy. Very good.
Take care.
Good job, brother.
Good stuff. Good deal. We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we keep on rolling, wrap things up on this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Good stuff. Jimmy, thank you, man.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on, guys. And I appreciate
absolutely.
it. I'll look forward.
Really good, man. Really
I
good.
look forward to next week.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Absolutely.
Hey, y'all have a great week.
You too.
See you.
Bless you, my friend. Take care.
Good stuff, man. Really good stuff, man.
Nice,
That's exciting.
good.
So we'll have
Really
Jimmy.
good.
Yeah, really good, man. So we'll have Jimmy every Monday, guys. Clint, I think we still have him every Tuesday. So we got Jimmy Monday, Clint Tuesday. Of course, we got Lamprello Law on Thursday. Matter of fact, Dan, I missed your super chat. I'm so sorry. I told you I was going to go back to it, and things have been flying around. We got a $4.99 super chat from Dan. Thank you so much, Dan. He says, did you see that Jackson Lloyd and Keelan Russell got baptized together and started a Bible study together? Roll dang tide. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, I heard Jackson Lloyd talk about it. I knew they got baptized together. I remember seeing that, but I didn't realize they were doing some Bible study together, which is awesome.
Definitely love that. That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's what real leaders are going to be on that football team. I'm pulling extra harder for these two dudes.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, there's other members in the Bible study too. We got.
I know.
I'll get the whole list. I'll get the whole list of who's.
I like the fact that they
made
that public affirmation of their faith, and that's a good thing. I wish more of this happened on squads. I really do.
Absolutely. We got one from Lamprello Law. I got Adam in the chat with the $100 super chat. Adam, thank you so much, guys. I'm in the process of moving right now. Hopefully, buying a new home, and thank you. The love helps. I appreciate that because Lord knows it's a lot. All right, Christian, what's the best way for DeBoer to scheme around what could be a weak offensive line? Corey, I was at the 1993 wild card game when you guys beat the Vikings. That was a great defense, but it was freezing that day. Real quick, because I know we only got a little bit of time.
Well, I know that's the cold. 1993 against Minnesota. I would say this real quick. Was the absolute coldest game that I've ever played in my life. I tell you, when my hands were so cold and getting hit by a helmet, oh my God, that's why I got Fred Sanford arthritis right now. And that's probably because of that game in 1993. So that game was so cold, bro. I'm talking about it was below zero. Bro, let me tell you, it was cold. Cold, Adam. Cold. If I was a fan, I don't know how it's packed, 70,000, 80,000 people. Like, why y'all sitting out here? At least we get paid to do this. But boy, ain't no way in the world I would go watch a football game with that weather like that. No way. Appreciate your commitment to a fan, Adam, but that's cold.
To Adam's point about scheming around a weak offensive line, if it's weak in pass pro, chips, right? Leave it going 6-man protection, 7-man protection if you can. Again, I mean, route concepts and stuff change when you have less guys running routes, clearly. But even just backs chipping on their way out, that's a big one if you're trying to help out a young tackle. Of course, leaving the tight end in there is a big one. Those are always ways to help out there in terms of just weak overall. Say you're talking about like running the football. Man, I'll be honest with you. I don't really, I mean, you just got to find what they do well and hang your hat on that and really just lean into that. I think that's probably one of the few things. I think last year we just did way too much, and that's why we asked Coach DeBoer that question, and he even acknowledged that they want to simplify things a little bit, have something to hang their hat on, and I think that is one way to help guys out. That way you're not trying to have them do a million different things. This is what's going to be our bread and butter. We're going to lean into this, and that way we at least know shorten third and short situations, whatever, right? Those situations that come up where you got to run the football, kind of like Jimmy was talking about. We're not getting cute. We're going to line up, put a hat on a hat, be physical, and pick up some yards. So that's probably, those two things are probably some of the best things that you can do. Let me close this out real quick. And welcome back in for about 20 seconds as we close things out on this Monday edition. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Chase behind the glass. Glad he's feeling better. We got so much to cover that we didn't get to everything, but big thanks to Jimmy Stein, who's now joining us every Monday here on the show, and all you guys listening via Tide 100.9, any of the streams. We appreciate you guys so much for all you guys do for making this whole thing possible. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow for a Talking Tuesday edition right here, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. All right, good deal. I'm going to hang here on the chat real quick and answer some of these questions. Chase, I appreciate you, man. Sorry about that. Running a little late there. Lisa Rawls in the chat. Another great show, Roll Tide Roll. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. And I'm excited.
That guy's good.
I'm gonna work on I'm gonna work on getting some more. Is there any other folks that you guys would like to see maybe jump on here every now and then?
Yeah, Obafemi.
You know, dude, you know what's crazy? This is gonna sound weird. I had a dream with Obafemi. Now that you just said that. I just remember I had a dream that
I'm pumped here. Come on the show.
Huh?
He'll come on the show.
No, I can
Now get lemon pepper stepper. A Gamecock and Obafemi.
No, now here's the thing though. Oba's going to come on, but now Oba blew up and he just retired Brock Lesnar. I mean, we might have to go through like WWE personnel to try to make before I can DM him.
You still can do that, bro.
But I had a dream though where like I was like hanging out with Oba, and we were talking about.
You have a dream that little black boys and little black girls and little white boys and little white girls.
Yeah, let's keep it sports. There's enough of that BS going on. The WNBA. Let's just keep.
Where my pancakes?
Panthers fan says this has become my favorite show. It should have already been your favorite show. Bama Panthers fan, dude. You see the helmets, man.
Man, just be thankful that they are. You know, thank you, Bama Panthers.
No, it's a joke. First of all, Bama Panthers fan has been here listening for forever, man. I'm just messing with them. I'm just saying, like, of course this is his favorite show, man. We got the Bama and the Panthers. No, I'm just playing. But thank you so much, seriously, man. Listen, I'm so excited for where we're going and how we've been able to grow, especially thanks to you guys. I just feel like, you know, we're expanding, we're getting more folks, and overall, I think we got a lot of good content coming y'all's way. So thank you guys, man. We really appreciate all the support, man. We really do. Because here's my thing. I want to get a bunch of different perspectives and voices that way. I think that's fun, right? You know, we got the Pastor Payne, who's a little bit more on the hard nose side. I think we can get some folks that might lean a little bit more into just, hey, they might be all the way pro band. You know what I mean? We just get everybody's different perspectives, right? So, I'd run through the Pastor Payne like water through a riverbed. Oh, dang! Somebody's challenged you, man. Salt, pepper, fire, man.
I'm salt, pepper, stepper. Lemon pepper stepper.
Might be. Why is Bama recruiting class so small? Basically, in simple terms, so many young players that are expected to be back again next season. Not very many spots available. Now, that don't necessarily mean you had to have lesser. I hate saying lesser quality recruits because that sounds disrespectful. But you get what I'm saying. They didn't necessarily mean you had to go get guys that weren't ranked or rated as high. It's ended up kind of working out that way. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think this staff just did not want to overinvest or overpay for a number of guys that they didn't feel like were going to make immediate impacts given the youth on this team. So those are pretty much the main factors of why it looks the way it looks. But if you look at 2028, they've hit the ground running. They're recruiting some of the top guys. And they've already got like the most commits out of any. The reason we are like number one or number two, I'm not taking anything from what we're doing, but I just want people to remember we're like the number one and number two recruiting class of 2028, largely because we have the largest class right now. So like once those classes start filling out,
2028, really? Come on.
That's literally just the next year, dude. 2027 will sign in a few months. That's what. See,
no.
You just look.
I don't even care.
Eat your pancakes, man. That you just were talking about how healthy you eat, but you just ordered pancakes at 2:00 in the morning.
This is a chicken fajita omelet, brother. I don't have no pancakes. Know what you're talking about?
But don't try to lie.
And I got fruit, and I'm eating fruit. There ain't no pancakes.
There you go. That is. So you're telling me I'm making stuff up? Where are my pancakes? Where are my pancakes? Did you not just say that? Were you supposed to have?
I didn't get any pancakes. Lord looked out for me.
Were you supposed to have pancakes?
I got fruit.
Were you?
I forgot I switched to fruit.
Were you supposed to have pancakes?
No, I switched to fruit.
Did you initially order pancakes?
No, I switched to the fruit.
That's the cap. You know it's a sin to lie. All sins hold the same weight. I'm just saying.
What?
What? You can
what you
hear
say? I didn't hear you.
All sins hold the same weight. You
Right,
order pancakes,
true. Well, I ain't eating a pancake ain't sin.
You order pancakes. King says it was awesome. You guys had Jimmy on. He's definitely one of my favorite media guys to cover Alabama. Yeah, Jimmy's great, man. I'm excited. I really enjoyed that. So every Monday he'll be on around 12:30. Which Mondays, man, whew, we're gonna do breakdowns on Monday. We got media. We're gonna hear from Coach DeBoer on Monday. We'll have Jimmy on Monday. So, golly, man, this is a great problem to have, though. So much content that you don't even know where to start. Yeah, matter of fact, Cutie was one of the folks that definitely mentioned Jimmy's name. Dan, thank you again for that super chat. Thank you so much for the support, brother. Thank you so much. Any last few super chats we get? Got our guy Adam. Adam, we got to ask you some more questions, man. I know Terry on. He visited with the Seahawks, and that was the other thing, Adam. We got to ask you this week. I forgot who it was in the chat, but they've asked a couple times now, and I keep forgetting to ask Adam this. But they wanted an update on Henry Ruggs.
He got denied.
He initially got denied. Yeah, shout out to Adam, man. Roll Tide, Adam. Shout out to Adam. Lamp Brother Law. Make sure you guys check them out. Lamp Brother Law on YouTube. Adam gives free legal advice right there. And it's really good information. So it covers a wide range of things. Make sure you guys, everybody right now, go subscribe to Lamp Brother Law on YouTube, man. Adam's building up his channel over there. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. And it's all free. Go subscribe to Adam real quick.
Adam, good. I needed some book legal advice. He drew up letters for me to send to all about licensing. So thank you, Adam. So just that quick.
Yeah, Adam is fast, reliable. I'm telling you guys, man. Adam is he is the man with the plan. I'm telling you, like anything you can think of, representation wise, doesn't just have to be some big criminal case or some big, thing you had come on. Adam is definitely a resource to have in your back pocket, man. He'll take care of you guys. All affordable too, I promise. He's the man.
Somebody say you've been mean.
Who?
On Chip. Somebody.
Huh?
You're right, Chip.
Nobody said that.
Yeah, they did.
No, they did not.
I just saw it. Scroll up.
No, somebody said he did ask about pancakes. So so they called. They heard it too.
I did. I said I did, but I forgot I changed the fruit.
All right, man. Oh, Adam said Chris is being mean to Corey. Nah. Don't listen. He tries to put on this thing like I'm being. No.
Well,
I'm trying to.
I ain't trying to do anything.
I'm trying to challenge him because he sat there and said, you don't know what I eat.
Well,
I eat healthy. And then the first thing I hear when he puts that bag on the
but
table,
what's wrong with is pancakes unhealthy?
Where are my pancakes at? I'm just saying.
Is pancakes unhealthy? How you know I didn't get multi-grain pancakes?
Brother, where'd you order from?
Why does that got to matter? I'm eating chicken and eggs with vegetables.
All right,
I've gone 18 hours. I go 18 hours every day. 18 hours. Pancakes are not unhealthy. It's about what you cook them with.
Seth says, Christian, I'm a fourth generation Bama fan. I've never missed a game. I can remember watching you play growing up. And I love your show now. I appreciate all the work you put into the show, man. Hey, man, that means a lot, man. I really appreciate it. Because I'm not going to lie to you. Because on the radio side of things, man, Chase is the man, him, Reed, all the boys over there at the studio that handle the radio side, they're the guys. But when it comes to the stream, I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's all me right now. We're trying to put together a team. If you guys know anybody that's looking for an internship that wants to work with us, you'll be able to go to practices and be, cover. You'll be able to cover.
Why don't you go to practice?
Brother, because the show starts at 11 and they practice in the morning. I can when I
can run the point. If you let me know when you want to go ahead of time.
Yeah, that would be nice if you're on here.
You can go to. Well, I got this. Say I'm going to Spring. I run point.
Yeah, so we can definitely talk about that. Maybe Thursday when they have scrimmage. But like I said, I'm doing everything right now. So I did.
Well, nobody's going to do better than you being over there. Then
you're missing the point, man. We need somebody to go. I still need help though. So somebody can go get clips and audio and all that stuff. I'm saying like for the interviews and stuff, I can leave. They can still record that. We need help. I can't do everything. So if anybody is interested, please check us out or get the email, themillersedge.com. Would love to talk about that if anybody is
That's
interested.
right,
Plus,
Bama Panthers fan 0. I do sugar-free syrup. That's what I always do on my pancakes. That's right.
this guy here, man, he's so cap.
I mean, growing up, bro, I'm
P.
about to talk
Logan
about
says,
all that.
don't care for prevent defense. Listen, I don't know if you guys caught this, and we talked about it a little bit. It was at the end of the show, I think Friday. We listened to Dejoun Lee, and he had mentioned that they've been working a lot more press this camp, this off season, whatever. That signals that they're probably going to be in some more man-to-man situations. They're not going to be playing so far off the football, which that used to drive me nuts. You know, you watch teams, especially like Indiana with the RPOs, are working those, hitches, those comebacks, whatever it is, right? And you're playing so far off, short, intermediate game. I mean, you're just kind of gifting them yards, right? Letting teams march down the field. It all kind of goes hand in hand with what Coach Saban and Roman were saying at SEC Media Days. It sounds like they're making some adjustments, which is important. So that's definitely something to pay attention to. Seth says, do you expect us to make a shift back to heavy man cover? Oh, that runs hand in hand with this. Heavy man coverage this year with the length we have in the secondary. Do you think we'll stick with the zone package we had last year? So year number 1 in 24, they ran a lot of man. Last year, they went more into what Kane Womack typically does, which is a lot more zone. I think you'll see almost kind of a combination. I think you'll see some more man coverage. They just played off so much, and they played a lot of zone last year. Where when they did play man, right? I mean, they have players, right? Xavier Brown. I want to see Dejoun Lee. I want to see him utilize his physical tools and be in more press situations. Like that to me intrigues me, right? Like I think he's a good athlete. Now, again, you might don't want to put him in too many situations if he's not necessarily well suited for that. But like for a big physical cornerback like that, see what it's like to put him in press, get his hands on these receivers, right? Stop him on the line.
Right.
A
A lot of people are interested in the diet. If anybody want to go, how many days before kickoff?
26, I believe. Shout out to Crystal, who always has us covered every
Yeah, Crystal is awesome.
morning.
She's carnivore. She only eat meat.
What diet? Wait, hold on. What is your diet? What do you?
I don't have no diet.
So what you just said they're asking about diet?
No, Crystal only eats. Her and her husband, I think, only eats meat. They're carnivores,
You
meat
just
eaters.
said everybody's asking about diets. Did you not?
Oh no, I said I'll do a little challenge. We can see who can lose. Let's see, 25 days. What about 15 pounds in 25 days?
That's not happening.
Okay, what about 10 pounds?
15 pounds is a lot. I don't know if that's healthy. I mean, you could do it, but I mean,
I know I can do it.
Yeah, if you cut like a boxer. I mean, what are you going to be cutting like a fighter? I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I'm already on really. I can eat. Like I eat this meal. I'll eat a light dinner, and that's it.
I mean,
I don't have no diet. No, I don't have no diet.
so this whole 18-hour fasting you're doing, I'm guessing that's
called intermittent fasting. It's
right,
good
but
for you.
Okay, but are you doing that for your faith, or are you doing that
every day? Every day. So
no,
whatever time I eat my last.
What is your motive? Is it faith based, or you're just doing that?
No, no. Fasting from faith is totally different.
Well, you
but my point is,
I didn't know if this was. I was trying.
I know I still fast. I still do it, but I'll do something different. Like I'll cut out sweets, or I'll cut out whatever carbohydrates. I do fast like that.
Why don't you let me give you a diet to follow?
No, you don't need to give me nothing. I'm good. But my point,
I have a.
I know what I'm doing. I've done it many times. I lost 50 pounds before over 3 months.
Keto though. You were doing a keto diet. Those aren't.
I did more meat, eating meat, no sugar, and healthy carbohydrates.
If you can cut
sugar out, you're gonna lose a lot of weight. Period.
I was about to say, Chad, if you guys cut out sugar alone, things like especially like those beverages that pack a crap ton of sugar, that alone will make you start losing a lot of weight naturally.
Yeah, I know.
Your face and stuff will start slimming out. I mean, like cutting out sweets is a great place to start. Now you still
Sugar is
need
the devil.
you
Sugar
need
really is the devil.
no,
Sugar
it's
really
not
is the
because
devil.
it's basically carbohydrates, right? Your brain, you need glucose, you need those things to operate. So you don't want to just have nothing, but limit it and try to really only go after like natural healthy sugar. Like for me, like I drink a smoothie every night. You know, it's gonna I do zero sugar for the juice, but the fruit in it has natural sugar, right? Or like I eat like flax seeds, oatmeal every single day. Every single day I eat the same thing. I eat flax seeds, oatmeal, 3 eggs, and spinach every single morning.
Yeah, Crystal lost 90 pounds, she said, and I
Oh
remember that.
wow, good for you. That's impressive. That's really impressive. This is not health advice. See, we got our lawyer in the chat. I got to make sure. Hey, remember this is. You always got to say those things just in case somebody goes in fast, and then something happens. They can't put it back on you. Just this is not.
What?
You have to say those things when you're giving like financial advice or health advice. You have to preface by saying that. That way, if like something goes south, they can't hold you accountable. Adam would know what I'm talking about. This is not health advice. These are just suggestions.
Well, keto works, but but a lot of people eat unhealthy bacon and all like that's like I don't know. I don't know. There's so much stuff out there. You just gotta be educate and do what's best for everybody's body works different.
Yeah, that's true. And anything else you got before we get out
Now
of
I'm
here?
gonna go ahead now and again I'm gonna have the link up before this week's over. Don't forget, be on the lookout from the gridiron to the gospel. And this is just my raw copy of she printed out the pages. It's gonna be about 200 plus pages, a lot of good pictures in here and a lot of good stuff. So
Good deal.
there's Christian in here, fam, his mom when he graduated. There'll be all kind of cool stuff in here.
I mean, did you ask my permission for my photos? Shouldn't you? I mean, shouldn't you do that?
No. Those are my pictures I took. I
I
took
think
them.
you should.
I took them. This is my camera. I own them rights.
Who is operating this book, man? I think you're supposed to like get permission, right? You just using my photos.
You think I have to get permission? They put your picture when they blast your tail
Yeah.
on social media. Do they call people and get permission? Like if somebody took a picture of you with their phone, they don't have to get
selling
permission.
the book. I'm just saying you're selling a book, so I want to make sure. I want to see what photo you're using. I mean, can I have a say in it? What if I don't like the photo? What if I want to
They just don't like it.
I mean, who is running this show with this book, man? This can't be right.
See this right here, bro? You see that right there? This is legal. It's legitimate, bro. This ain't your okay, but that's legitimate. So you can go on with your foul foolishness.
This dude got some people in Vietnam over here doing the publishing of this book, man.
They're Vietnam, bro. They former retired 20+ year military people that sort of right. Yeah, they've been in Vietnam, probably.
Tell them thank you for their service. All seriousness, that's awesome. All right, chat. That'll do it for us today. Be back tomorrow on Talking Tuesday. We got Clint.
Yeah, Christian is always uptight. I'm glad somebody else see that. See, people even see you. You Christian always uptight. You sure, man? It's like he don't know how to loosen. He don't know. It's to try to help him with that. That's what stress and anxiety, all that come from when you two are just uptight. Sometimes you just got to take a deep breath and rock out.
I'm clearly playing around about the photos of me. I mean, I'm just being funny. But I was the one.
I got something I can put in there if you want. If you
no.
I got something I can put. If you want me to,
but see, but here's the thing: you're laughing though, but your title people also had logos from professional organizations, and I was the one that told you have to get permission. They didn't.
I knew that. I knew that.
No,
you had to tell me that.
So I mean, so people can.
They did know that.
Then why would they put them on there? I'm just saying. I mean, like, so I know a thing or two. I'm just just making sure you cross.
Who is Dana? Oh, that's for you.
What he said? Hollis C. Mill later pastor.
Who was that?
He said he's just leaving. He's just man. He's just saying later.
Oh, peace. pastor of pancakes. I love that. I didn't eat no pancakes. Look at this.
The best one was what the pastor of was it Jake that
The
said it?
pastor of purpose.
No. Jake said one last week. What was it last week? Jake said the pastor of pastor of pancakes is hilarious. No, but what did they say last week? What was it? Was it because you were hurt or something? No, it's already pastor of pain. Pastor of God, what did Jake say? It was a good one, man. I don't remember what it was. We need a photo drop after stream every day. No. See, that's why I'm saying I don't know what pictures he's got, man.
I can show you.
No, I'm kidding. There's no bad pictures. I just was being funny. I'm like, man, you can't put no picture of me like caught off guard, looking like weird or crazy or nothing. Which I don't even think there is.
These are black and white.
I was just being funny. Those are childhood photos. I thought you just showed something. Wait. So what's the point? So wait.
That's it. There you go. Always. Wait a minute. What do you mean? Wait a minute.
What?
What are you talking about?
No, I'm asking because you're saying the book is like. I was trying to figure out exactly like what the theme is. Like you. It seems like you got
from the gridiron to the gridiron to the gospel. What do you think that is? You're a smart guy.
Right. So I'm thinking it's your story.
It is my story, and y'all are part of the story. Obviously, my children.
But no, but I'm saying it seems like there's a lot of photos of us. So I'm curious, like what you see what I'm saying?
A lot of people, photos of my family,
when you say
my sister.
Right. So I'm just asking a question.
All right, let me tell you. For the gridiron, let me be professional here. Let me be professional.
We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here.
From the gridiron to the gospel is about my life. It's the gridiron to the gospel. And it says the Corey Miller story, right? And so this is about my life growing up in Paisley, South Carolina. Big poor family of 11 kids, 2 parents that worked their tail off. But how gridiron football. From a prophetic word from my great grandmother, told me that God's going to use me one day to do great things. Didn't know what that meant at the time, but through football and the journey, it led me to the gospel of the pulpit. So that's that without giving everything away. And there's a lot of good stuff about fatherhood, about failures to faith, to redemption, God's faithfulness. It's the whole journey to where I'm at today.
Do you have your childhood photos in there?
I got all kinds of photos. People like pictures. So when you tell the story,
you had your childhood photos.
I don't have any. My back when I was little, we didn't have no.
Okay, so now you understand where I'm coming from. I wasn't being uptight. My point was I was seeing so many photos of.
I just showed you the one page.
I was saying I hadn't seen like you. That's why I was confused. That was what I was saying. Like I was seeing a bunch of us growing up, but I was saying like where like you at? Because again, it's the gridiron to the gospel. It's the Corey Miller story. I was curious to see like your childhood photos, but you showed us like.
But
me
you know, in
and then you showed us
1960, they didn't have. You think I need to ask Michael Strahan? Can I use this picture?
I don't know. I mean, you might maybe look into it.
No, heck, no. I mean, there's a lot of pictures in here. My pictures, we don't have any.
This guy, bro. I'm not even gonna keep responding to this guy, bro. I understand the book is on him and his life. I'm saying I hadn't seen a whole bunch of pictures of him, man.
There's a ton of pictures of me. They're mostly me. What's wrong with you? I showed you just that one little page.
Let me get out of here, bro.
You've been silly. You've been even the chat. No, you've been very.
Dude, it's this one guy who's like riding you, man. So y'all two.
They should ride you. You deserve to be rolling.
I ain't even doing anything. I'm joking
around. You're asking stupid questions. What you doing? You're asking stupid questions. What you doing?
I'm asking a stupid question because it's a book that's based on you, but the only picture I saw.
It's your life. It's called a Corey. If you say Christian Miller, if you say I'm doing a story on Christian Miller and the life story, there's going to be
Brother, you don't know
moments.
how we grew up, so stop talking about stuff you don't know.
I'm just telling you,
I'm not talking about
anybody's
you. I'm
life.
talking about
Forget
this
you.
guy. I'm talking about this
Forget
guy.
you. Anybody's life.
I'm
If
talking about
someone
this
tells a
guy,
story, their life will have all kind of moments. What are you talking about?
bro.
I mean,
Y'all are
yeah, it's
taking stuff.
about you, but
Y'all are literally
your
taking
life
a joke,
involves,
man.
and unlike you can't be a hermit. But my point is, your life involves a lot of different people and a lot of.
All right, we gotta get off here. But I appreciate all you guys. I don't even know how this even got to this point. But anyway, any stuff on LT in that book? Not bad, of course. I'm sure he probably covers a little bit of that as well. But that said, again, we can talk about the book later. It really was a joke, man. I was literally playing around. Oh, you need to ask permission. It was a joke. I don't know, Josh. I apologize if you took that personal, man. I'm just messing with the guy, man. I'm just messing with the guy. I never said it wasn't normal, but like I said, like the book is about like him and his thing, whatever. I just hadn't seen the picture. I was curious. I wanted to see like his childhood pictures. I've never seen that, so that's kind of where I was going with that. I was being funny. Anyway, that said, we're gonna stick to football tomorrow. We'll be back for Talking Tuesday, same time, same place. You guys already know the drill. Josh, appreciate you again. It's all love, man. But like I said, don't take what I'm saying so serious, man. This is a show, right? We put on a fun persona. Like I understand he's my dad, man. I clearly don't care about him using the photos, man. It's a joke, man. This is a show. You got to put on the thing, man. You got to entertain. But that said, father son stuff like this coming up every morning. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's a joke. Like Josh must be new here because he doesn't understand the banter. Like the whole dynamic is like me and him going back and forth. Like that's literally the dynamic of the show. So like, don't take anything we're talking about like too serious. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's all love. Like it's literally like we've been like this. We go back and forth, old school, new school. So it's all fun and games. Not that deep, man. But that being said, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. If you guys haven't, man, hit that like button on the way out. We appreciate you guys as always. Roll Tide, and we'll see you guys.